button.
Welcome back to Exalted 3rd Edition Dragonblood, The Crimes of Nature. Last time, the group dealt with the fallout of further information relating to the boat and the transit network attached to it, finished out the ley lines that were attached to the portal, teleported onto Obsidian's boat, confused the absolute hell out of Flickering Glass, then did some discussion about what to do next, what to think about next, went out towards the Jade Orchid Prefecture, visited the Dragon-Slaying Burr's village to the southeast, discussed the current events of the Immaculate Order coming in to take care of the place after the tip-off of possible heretical activity, learned that the local religious head had in fact been executed, and that Sinis Lysaea, the prefect of the prefecture, was currently undergoing trial and almost certain to be executed at the end of it, though, procedure was still ongoing. The Order had been planning to install a new theocratic head, as mentioned, but the ongoing politicking means that exactly who it's going to be is not entirely clear, but current signs point to Flowing River, the mortal assistant of the head inquisitor, who is generally the person who restrains him from doing more overt bad shit, is going to be promoted to the, other side of the region to get him out of the way to handle this place. Meanwhile, Angler thought of a possible different approach involving his wife, Furious Cascade. Perhaps this is the opening that she needs to come out here and not be on the Isle when it blows up, and instead be managing another society out here, away from impending civil war. Also, Milan thought that sending everybody an invitation to dinner at Calibration would be a wonderful idea to instill peace and not absolute rampant paranoia. Don't worry about it.
Look, we're workshopping it.
Other than that, I believe that catches us up to where we were at the end of last session. The group is still in the cabin about here, on the crossroads of the Jade Orchid Prefecture in the woods, discussing this with Dragon-Slaying Burr and amongst each other about further plans about the region. And from there, ball's in your court.
Quick question. Did Repose bring up the idea that we talked about the last second of the last session, or no?
Alright, that was, Repose would
yeah.
not have brought it up as a character. I, as a player, put it forth as something that, hey, maybe the more politically conscious members of the team would have thought about.
Also, remind me exactly which one you're talking about?
So, we've already invited the temple in to talk about temple things, and they convicted local priest of crimes and punished him for those crimes, and Repose engaged in performative mourning about that.
Mm-hmm.
And now the temple is trying an aristocrat for aristocrat crimes, because it seems like he hasn't actually committed any religious felonies, only regular felonies.
Many, many, many temporal felonies.
So the thought was that, hey, this is actually a very opportune time for a couple of fine, upstanding gentlemen of the center to swoop in and volunteer to deliver this miscreant back to more appropriate authorities in other imperial territories, so that no one has to address the question of the temple committing violence on the aristocracy.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I'd forgotten that was a very good idea, and it was right at the end, so it had slipped my mind as something to bring up. But honestly, I would say
jurisdiction.
I would say, you can either just have Milan and Angler know this and think of this, or if you want to see if they would, just roll, wits bureaucracy or something.
So Milan thinks of this?
Yes.
Yeah, because I was also thinking somewhere along those lines, because that's when I brought up last week of does anyone not want to kill this guy? I was starting to form an idea, but Loon made it much more cohesive very quickly.
Right.
With another line along that being that we have a member of House Nellens and a member of House Beneath, and they have mutual animosity towards House Sinis.
My house especially hates them because they kicked us out of the region 5 years ago? Recently.
Yes. Shortly, around the time of the Empress's disappearance.
Soonish.
That's like yesterday, cosmologically.
Yeah. But yeah, Milan absolutely thinks of the angle, and also the fact that Vanif and Sinis economically have strong incentives to not like each other. No one's has the deep personal animosity for you stole a satrapy from us, as well as, the general animosity between great houses and disagreements over tradesmen and slaves and small business ownership. Vanif has the trading fleet, and Sinis is constantly arguing over, import
Sinis
taxes.
has a lot of economical anxieties, let's say.
Yes. So both of you are in the position as realm bureaucrats to show up and basically go, hey, it seems that you have preempted a head that we want on our platter, and if the Immaculates know what's good for them, they're immediately going to get out of your way.
So, what do we want to do with him once we grab him?
Well, there are a couple ways we could take care of it. If we wanted to take him back to the Isles, we could do the quiet way, or we could do the loud and brash way.
Quiet way, got it.
Well, there are a couple things with that. If we do the loud and brash way, where we are announcing our presence on the way back and making sure we stop in every prefecture on the way back towards our ship, or your ship, or any ship that can take us back to the Isles, we are inviting any sorts of people that would want to eliminate him to make an attempt, and we can take care of them in the process. And so when we arrive back in the Isles, they would be a lot happier and impressed with what we were able to do.
The upside, reputation. The downside, reputation.
And along with that, if the two of us come back with this and how all the reputation that comes with that, it might be easier for our houses to make a joint trade mission in order to start to cement ties to this region and start to kick out the house that currently owns the region. And I don't want them here anymore because waves handed slaves trade and everything else.
That's a good point.
However, if we don't want to invite doom upon our houses on the way there, I understand going quietly. It's more a matter of how quiet is this guy going to want to be. That being said, any undertaking that takes us back to the island is going to be an enormous amount of work and stress. And if we're going to go, I want the whole Brotherhood to be completely on board with it. I don't want to drag someone back to the Isle without them wanting to go themselves.
Not like somebody had a defining intimacy defined last session or something about that.
Milan
that
doesn't know
actually
about
wasn't
it.
the person I was thinking of. I was actually thinking of Old Man, but yes, that is also... Well, let me rephrase that. That's what Angler's thinking about. Me, Crumb is going, yeah, fuck it, a lot of you don't want to come along. Let's figure out what we can do.
Mm-hmm.
I do feel...
If this is being voiced out loud, Obsidian would probably say something along the lines of, I'll take you to the Isles, but I'm not setting foot on them.
Any particular reason?
Well, I have them.
That's fine if you don't want to talk about them, but... You have dropped a couple hints here and there, and if you need help with anything back in the Isle, I'm sure either myself or Milan could help you with that. Insight
the actual pause occurring there. Very simple response of, it's complicated. This aside from war strategy might be the most serious you've seen Obsidian talk about something.
I am doing a read intentions on him after I say that, because this is something that has been kind of ferreted about for quite a while.
All right, go right ahead. The resting guile of Obsidian Shield is 4.
Okay, I got 6 successes.
I don't know if you, I don't know
Hold
if
up.
you have. Do you have an excellency that can apply to guile?
I have a charm that can apply to guile.
I didn't get any stun for setting up the thing to start doing the thing.
I would say 1 die stun for doing that.
Okay, I will add 1 to that.
Yeah, you rolled before I could adjudicate that.
7 successes then. Sorry, I was so excited to finally do this.
No, it's fine.
I may or may not have been thinking about this the entire week.
This is 100% something that Obsidian would not want even his brothers to know.
This is you are finally being backed into a corner about this.
He's not really backing you in a corner. He's more taking like a swipe and seeing what happens.
Okay, let me look at your rolls real quick.
That's a total of 7 successes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, I'm using smoke wreathed main, I believe. Which is a character you're aware of rolls 3 intentions on you. Essence ones on his rolls require him to re-roll successful dies.
So you do 1 re-roll.
Roll 1 re-roll. Okay, for my success.
Yeah.
This isn't going to change anything, but
so I go down from 7 to 6.
You get slightly less information. You don't beat the threshold by as much. So for 2 successes, I would say, you immediately ping that he has a literal down to the bones, no, I'm not going back intimacy. And on top of that, for 2 threshold successes, I would say you get a pretty strong hunch that it is tied pretty heavily to his personal philosophies about violence and suffering.
Can I place with his ideas with that, and also with his court mannerisms and such that we've seen before, that he's probably a member of a major house, or at least a house?
It would be a pretty reasonable conclusion to make. The circumstances, shrug, question mark, but it is pretty, you are smelling somebody who got disgusted and left. Under what circumstances, unclear.
Okay. I'm not going to press it any further. It's just, all right, thank you.
So.
Milan is pointedly not looking into this. Milan has chosen in the past to respect Obsidian's privacy in this matter.
Mm-hmm.
If we take Onyx back to the Isles and such, how much of a giant beacon is that ship going to be showing up anywhere near the Isles? Will it just people notice that that's a nice boat? Or is it going to be like a, wait a minute, what kind of boat is that?
Doesn't Onyx have like
so
a disguise system?
There's 2 factors here. One is something that Obsidian would know, but has not actually come up to the rest of the Hearth yet, is Onyx can shapeshift. Onyx can disguise itself. And 2, you didn't get Onyx until you were already out here in the ass end of nowhere away from the Isle. They wouldn't recognize Onyx's normal form. However, they would recognize that it is a black jade boat and immediately go, what the fuck is that doing here? Who owns that? But Onyx can be sneaky.
So unless people are looking directly at it, if Onyx is in quote-unquote stealth mode, it'll probably just be like, oh, that is a nice boat. And then the people who are actually perceptive would go, oh, that's a real nice boat.
Back when we started talking about the boat the first time, it took very careful direct manual inspection to notice that the boat was active.
It took Repose specifically doing occult inspection of where important essence flows would be to make it like scratch the mast and have some wood essence bleed out. Like, it looked like a just extremely well crafted but mortal crafted boat, because it had the cloaking device over it.
Okay. And last question dealing with Onyx. How long would it take for Onyx to get us back to the isle? I'm guessing it's going to be much faster than conventional travel.
Probably about a month and a half. Well, if you're going downriver, probably about a month if you book it, a month and a half if you don't really haul ass.
So I'm guessing that's much faster than normal travel?
Normal travel would be about 2 months.
Okay.
It's a good boat.
Okay, just making like thoughts and plans and such. Okay.
Yep.
Angler is like rapidly tuning with a bunch of different like ideas he needs to go over first, but we need to go first place, even start making an effort to talk to the people in the Jade Orchid Prefecture before we go any further.
Right.
Like, God, I don't even want to talk to the Immaculate Order. I mean, we have to, but I don't want to.
This is not an uncommon sentiment.
Chad has proposed the idea of one of the order, probably Angler, getting out and pushing the boat while it goes.
This is a really stupid question, but if we have a wind aspect there on the boat, can they make the winds more favorable?
That would be a sail charm. That would be in the territory if that's just a sail charm.
Let me remind myself of what sail charms I have. Maybe this is what Obsidian invests in next.
What sail charms do I have?
I have actually been looking into sail charms, but mostly for Cascade and such, because a variety of different things I'm looking at. Like, what would she be
I don't
good
have...
at?
Oh, right. I dumped all my sail charms very early into the game.
I don't have
because
any...
sail was not going to be important. I told you both that sail is very niche. I think you have, like, Captain Shore Approach or whatever that was.
No, according to my charm list, I don't have any... I don't even know what Captain Shore Approach is.
No, that's not the exact wording of it. It's the one where you can, like, pick your attitude.
Yes, that's Dragon Mariner Attitude. Mariner.
Then I swear you either had that or I suggested that to you at some point.
I might have had that or it was suggested and then
reshuffle. Yeah, no, you
reshuffle.
respec point when you realize what you wanted to do, and I guess you...
I do still have a 3 in sail. I can start going into the sail tree.
Yeah. Because, like, heads up, this is... If you are taking this branch of the plot, it is going to be nautical adventures for a fair while. And then Isle Adventures, which is much more boat compatible than a landlocked country.
Let's go on boat time.
Yeah, I really want to do boat time.
Yeah, no, this is to be like upfront about the design of how this is going to work. Boat will let you go to other places on the map and unlock fast travel points via the gate network that you find. And then you don't have to take the long-ass boat trip to get back to that place once you've been there once.
Okay.
It's going to take a lot more than, well, we really need the boat Obsidian to convince Obsidian to open a direct gate to the Isles to his base.
Yeah, no. There's more details than that. But, like, that's basically, like, you don't have to worry about if we ever want to go to the Isle a second time. There's another 4 months of blocked out time.
3. We can do it in 3. 2 on the way back.
I'm fine. I'm going to be a responsible adult and take spiritual custody of the destiny of thousands of people. Also propose I'm getting on a boat to the other side of the world. I'll be back. Maybe. It's fine.
I mean, that's basically what you said the second that you put up a monument, is that you're going to be like, okay, back in 5 years.
It's fine.
We are nearby Burr right now, correct?
Yeah, you are actually in
We're
or
at the insurgent camp
the shack.
In the middle of the prefecture.
Okay. Angler would ask Burr for a couple birds that could travel to a couple different places in the Hundred Kingdoms area, specifically over to where Koi is, and also to oh lord, what is their name? The
Steel
prefecture. The
God's
Breath River. God's Breath.
God's Breath. Okay.
Steel tearing.
Steels.
Mostly that I can not run the idea by, but if we're going to be out of the region, I definitely want to have those two, since that's people that anglers build a rapport with of, hey, we're going to be gone for a little bit. You might need to keep an eye on things in case things go to shit.
That's, yeah.
If need be, we can jump back through the portal and the boat can keep going back home and we can fix stuff around here and don't worry about the logistics. It's fine, but it's mostly that we need to make sure that any acquaintances we have that don't want to murder us are keeping an eye out for problems.
Yeah, the whole, we have been pretty important into keeping this place free of doom, and we're going to be taking a brief vacation. Heads up. Yeah, no, Burr would be able to provide some carrier pigeons that would be able to get to where you need them.
Yes, and then I guess I'll make linguistics roll for this, just be
sure.
Yeah, just be on the safe side. But it's going to be a very angler-esque message of, this is not set in stone just yet. However, we might be maneuvering about the area or leaving for a while, and just some specific instructions of who to look out for, specifically dealing with the to Koi, dealing with the person from the Jade Orchid, not the Jade Orchid Prefecture, the senator that ran away. Was that the Jade Orchid Prefecture? Did I write
that's Fallen River.
Fallen River, yes. Specifically to her about that gentleman, and to the God's Breath, just to keep an eye on the Trident River Valley for Repose, since Repose will be away for a bit.
Repose is a less than 30-year-old dragon blood. The fact that Repose was willing to say, I own this at all before leaving was more responsible than usual.
Also, to Koi, it would be to keep an eye on the North folk to the south, just in case they start to do the bandit thing again. Well, not bandit, raiding.
Yeah. Cattle
cool.
rustling.
I'm really glad I rolled 10 dice. It's a really simple cipher.
It works. It's going to foil anyone who's casually trying to crack open a letter and read it. Anybody...
We can check up on the North folk on our way out of the region. We'll go Mudwards and we'll pass by. The recommendation was slipped in that they could resettle the former Moon Village, Teeth's old house, since we cleaned out the residue. And the area was pretty abandoned because everyone thought it was spooky.
Obsidian would make one more request, and mattering on an out of character thing. How long has it been since war were declared?
Let me double check the calendar.
Like a week?
No, a little longer than that. It has been 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 days.
Okay.
So yeah, about a week and a half.
I'm thinking.
Again, a lot of this is just preliminary work, but Angler, being part of the bureaucracy, is well versed in that, you give people heads up like 6 different times in advance before you make a major move like this, so they don't get caught unprepared.
My only thought is, one last thing before leaving this region for months, is Obsidian would want to check in with Trident River Valley and see how the militia is acting.
Okay.
But I feel like 12 days isn't enough for them to fall back into their habits yet.
No, like I'll tell you for free, if there is any sort of slide back, it would not be yet. Like they're still busy processing what the fuck just happened.
Also, a lot of the slide back is probably going to be mitigated by Repose taking over that region. And
steel tearing, and very importantly, steel tearing bureaucrat now having a vested interest in making sure that the neighborhood stays nice and not full of fascists.
All right.
Mood.
As far as practical things along that front, I think what Repose would settle on wanting to do is borrowing Milan's talents, since Milan has the speed-boosting bureaucracy charm. And just going in there and slamming that first project through to conclusion.
Yep.
Yeah.
To formally establish the alliance and the flows of of war material between the local temples.
Just set it up so it can run itself for a little while you're out. Build up stacks and resources.
It might be a thing that it might take a while in the Jade Orc Prefecture to everything to calm down as soon as we talk with the Immaculate Order and such. So Angler wouldn't mind being there to pretty much sit on the soon-to-be prisoner if everything works out, while everyone else takes care of other problems in the region.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, he wouldn't mind a second person there just to be on the safe side, but if we're in the middle of a bunch of different Immaculates and stuff, Angler doesn't exactly want to start a fight because he doesn't want to provoke any kind of odd questions.
Very odd questions.
The fuck are you doing with your feet in that stuff? What are you? What are you? Don't.
How and where and why and how?
Yeah,
First of
it's
all, how
fine.
dare you?
But yes, that is the preliminary work I wanted to go over before you made a move. If anyone else has some, I'm all ears.
Right now, I got nothing.
Yeah, the current pressing thing to do is if we're going to try and retrieve the prefect, we do it now.
Idiot.
Yeah,
You need to do it now.
Either we collect him or he is dead.
Yep.
Yes.
All right. So the group would presumably just move the token, head back in from the wilderness, back towards the prefecture capital. And on approaching the capital, anybody who's like being particularly attentive as you go in can roll me wits awareness.
Are we all going?
Yes.
Alright.
Wits awareness.
Unless
the
Yang
Order
would
involved,
like to
I am
vanish
incredibly...
and
Unless
do
Yang
some
wants
moves
to
on the
go
side.
off and do other things.
I can't think of a reason.
Alright,
Okay.
then we're all going in. Propose is going to be there, but keep polite distance and avoid saying anything.
I activated my echolocation system.
Yeah, no kidding.
Similarly for Obsidian, will be there is going to let the bureaucrats do the talking for once.
All right, so Mulan doesn't really notice things too out of line of what you would expect from a place under theocratic occupation. Neither does Yang, but Yang does kind of get a sense in the air of the people here, kind of giving you a sec. What?
Town sus.
It's not so much the town; it's just people are giving you double looks of like, "What? Okay, all right, what are you doing here?" Repose is very familiar with the look of trying to figure out whether you are here to start more shit or end shit. Your public backhanded funeral helped settle things down, but the fact that all of you at once are coming back in is making a lot of people just reflexively on edge and just kind of quietly, casually finding a reason to go back into their houses. Angler can notice all of this and the fact that the representatives of the Immaculate Order, upon seeing the entire crew of Dragonbloods coming into the town, are immediately just kind of casually getting out of the line of sight, and then when they think that you don't see them, but you see them because you're way better at this than they think, they're hauling ass towards the capital, presumably to inform people of your arrival.
Last time we were here, war were declared, so yeah, understandable they're nervous.
Mm-hmm.
We can't declare it.
I didn't say we were, but war were declared.
We were just here for damn Smiths.
Angler, since there's a bit of a break between the group, it's just going to use wind carried words to whisper back to the rest of the crew. We've been spotted. Don't bother splitting up. They know we're all here and as a part of a group. And doesn't receive a response because he doesn't know that the rest of them can do it. So cool. All right, continue forward.
We're also not that far away from you.
I thought you were trying to be 100 yards back or something, not like
polite distance is just
Okay.
medium.
It's still a way of saying it without having people here.
Socially medium.
Is it like the parents and teenagers at the mall, 20 feet apart?
Chaperoning you.
Probably around that.
And then Yang opens up the Discord call.
What?
Repose is at cat distance.
Then
He
Mode
is here
at
to
cat
be
distance.
seen, so that people are going to suspect him of things regardless. They may as well suspect what he might do if you weren't looking at him, instead of what he could be up to if he isn't here.
Closer we get to the capital, the more official and noticeable Milan's going to look.
Just drawing up all of your old, educational stuff that was not in the haptogram, the actual scholarly educations.
Yeah,
And,
because
just growing up around grandma got you a lot of,
I did go
learning
to
by
the
watching.
I did go to the Spiral Academy after the heptagram.
Yeah, you went to the Spiral Academy, and also living in grandma's house meant that you saw a whole lot of people on their best behavior and also most intimidating behavior. So you've got a lot of practice at this. Go ahead and roll me presence, not presence. I always fucking charisma bureaucracy with a 2 dice on.
Fix the hat. Rewax the beard. All right. Nice and official.
It takes, because Milan is the one who hasn't really been paying open attention. By the time everybody else has very clearly noticed this, Milan notices the street is empty in front of Milan. Like, everybody has just gotten the fuck out of the way. Milan's just like, where is everybody? And everybody else has long since noticed everybody seeing Milan's presence, putting two together, and getting the hell inside. So, just... Oh, okay, I guess this is working. I guess the stance is working. As you approach the Capitol building, several runners come out. Looks like low-rank monastics bow their heads to you, just kind of steepling their hands. Just, how may we assist you, honored brothers of the earth?
Yes, hello. As we understand, one of our member... Not one of our... Give me one sec. I need to actually think through my words.
Go ahead.
And he's acknowledging the side conversation about seasons over in the chat. Yeah, part of the default climate cycle in creation is the year ends at summer, calibration, and then you immediately snap down to winter.
Mm-hmm. It goes from cold up to hot, and then scene missing, and then cold to hot.
How long is calibration?
5 days.
Damn.
Yeah, it's abrupt. Water is wet season, air is like cold season, wood is growth, earth is harvest, fire is like summer, like beyond.
What exactly each of these seasons mean in turn depends on, the rest of the local climate.
Yeah, where you are matters a huge amount. Like, for the east, it is roughly winter, damp season, growing season, harvest season, fuck, it's hot season.
Yeah, the east you get kind of a bizarro Mediterranean climate in a lot of places.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, question from possible previous discussion on the way over here.
Mm-hmm.
Did we want it let known that we were here 12 days back to the Immaculate Order? Or do we feel word would have gotten out and...
I think word's gonna get out.
Okay, so...
Considering
People know
that
we were here, we
talking
led
to
their
everybody who has been
led their
willing to-
army in the battle.
Yeah, you led the army. There is no
Yeah.
earthly way they have not heard about your involvement. Pretty much, from who they talk to and who they've killed at this point, it is probably the case that they know literally everything you did here.
Okay,
maybe
so-
not Yang stealing things, but about everything else.
Okay, so I'm gonna go with introducing as apologies for... Yes, apologies for our sudden disappearance after the war. We had to go make sure that no further untowardness would occur elsewhere.
They are just keeping their heads bowed, listening. You get the feeling that they would not if that would not feel like a grievous disrespect. They are abundantly serious about this.
And when I say untowardness, I'm
Clearly talking.
I'm clearly talking about Doom.
Yeah, no, like that is the reason that they are like not even calling you on that or like nodding or responding. Is just yeah, you're talking about the bad shit. We are letting you talk.
We had to go make sure that Doom was fully taken care of. And now I feel that our company should resolve more earthly matters that have begun here.
One of the acolytes looks up. I take it you're referring to the trial of Sinus Lysaea.
Indeed. Has he been found guilty of any of Heaven's laws?
There's a pause as they kind of look awkwardly at each other. The trial is currently ongoing, and the charges, I apologize, are too far of a litany for me to entirely recite. But no guilt has been laid as of yet, but they just kind of trail off as just like, but like the unstated thing is it's a foregone conclusion.
Mm-hmm. Understandable. Is this an open trial?
No, unfortunately, the Inquisitor viewed it as a security risk for Lysaea to have access to the public.
Understandable. Might we discuss this more, and I look around to the people poking their heads and eyes out from closed doors, more private quarters.
Of course, Master Beneath. If you would follow us, and they turn around and lead you back into the awful, gaudy palace that you can't wait to see repurposed to be anything else.
While we're on our way there, Angler's going to probably give a look towards Repose and Obsidian, and if they see the monk who was supposed to take over this region, be like, you should go talk to him and make sure he's on the level with going back, and we're not going to screw him over by taking away his promotion or what have you.
All right, so it seems like all current business is occurring within the palace.
That is going to be, you're going to have to peel off and find him somewhere in the palace.
So actually, I want to address that. So Lysaea is from House Sinus, right?
Yes, he is actually...
Can I remember how I had a cover from House Sinus fucking billion years ago?
Yes.
Can Yang just quietly peel off and play Hitman level?
Yes, you can.
Oh no.
Oh, yes.
So
you guys know we're trying not to get this guy killed, right?
Don't worry about it, buddy.
Oh boy.
I will say that he is on the list. He is, in fact, very high on the list.
We'll see.
You have turned around and Yang is gone.
Yeah, at one point, I'm just gone.
You turn to address Yang, and there is a suspiciously Yang-shaped puff of smoke where Yang should be.
There is no Thousand Miracle Yang here today. There is only very respectable and upright gentleman Sinus Yaku.
Yes. Sinus Yang or Yakuman, depending on which. Like, but this is the actual I am a doctor of House Sinus.
Let me think of the cover. Does Sinus have they're probably a bunch of heritage motherfuckers. What's the traditional naming scheme from House Sinus?
That is actually something that is relevant to dynastic naming that has not really come up yet. The usual way dynastic names work is the house name comes first, so Sinus, and then Yang your name would be Sinus Yang. If you were in a disguise of a family of particularly reputable note, like a cadet house, basically, where whoever is in charge of your branch of the bloodline is notable enough that they get extra benefits, so they're running something, like a satrapy would be running it, you would have their name as a middleman. I don't know if Yang would be in such a house, but just Sinus Yang would be, Thousand Miracles Sinus Yang would be...
No, okay, so it's going to be it's going to be Old Rome for whatever a broken bone is, the medical term.
Mm-hmm.
and then the what's the word? The post fixture, I guess, of everywhere. So broken skeleton, basically, if you read it correctly.
Fractured ass Yang.
Sin is broken ass, pretty much. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'll roll with that. All right.
So the first person you say it to thinks it's a joke.
Until they actually see the first time that you've brought them out in a while, the completely, like, not actually forgeries, fully legitimate House Mon, like the seals on your clothing, like out in the daylight for the first time, probably since Grey Falls, and they just look at you and go, "Oh fuck. We knew that House Vanif and House Nellens were coming, but now House Sinis is involved, and oh shit." Like, if you want to go in with your authority as a member of House Sinis, as your cover, and basically just walk in plain sight, you can go ahead and roll me manipulation performance with a 3-die stunt.
What is manipulation? I think it's 3.
4, it looks like.
Okay, so
that would be a
that'd
total
be
of
12.
12.
Wow.
Yes.
All right, damn. I'm gonna give you willpower.
All right, 6 successes. Yeah, no. The moment that you show up and you say Sinis and whatever your first name is doesn't matter, you could literally have said in like actual High Realm, Sinis fractured ass, and they would not have looked at you twice. They would have just gone, and we're out of here. This is now dynastic politics. This is House Sinis finally coming here to kill or claim the errant child that they hadn't bothered with. We're out of here. We're not getting involved. This way.
Someone should probably go notify the Inquisitor that there are 3 dynasts here.
That is basically they're all just fucking stampeding into the hall to give everyone inside heads up.
So while the crew is making their way in, Repose is going to very conspicuously drift to a halt at the threshold of the door and make eye contact with each acolyte who is present, and just wait meaningfully to be specifically asked to enter this place that is currently the jurisdiction of another sect.
So, just somebody in the chat. Right away, she's
Zanzibar.
Can I be Sinis Zanzibar?
Yeah, sure,
yes.
Whatever.
Oh,
Sinis Zanzibar.
no.
There you go.
That almost fits the
That is
the naming structure.
Yeah, there is only one part of that doesn't fit dynastic naming convention, and it's close enough to be a deliberate breaking of the rules. I hate that this is a canon dynast name. Fuck. But yeah, no, you are invited inside the moment they realize that you are very kind of looming ominously in the threshold.
All right, and when they confirm that, just kind of in the old tongue, so be it, and then very conspicuously take the first step in.
The pact is sealed.
Entirely relax and continue shuffling forward in his usual manner. Just Gaia's name be praised and move along.
The acolytes have this
do
air
some de-escalation of just be chill,
in.
everyone. Relax.
As the rest of the people are filing in, there's a distinct air between the 2 acolytes as they look at each other of, did we just fuck up?
Yeah, there are 4 successes radiating for Repose of, no, it's fine. Shh. It's fine. This is formality.
All right, so yeah, okay.
I have acknowledged your house. I am not going to leave my smell on any of the furniture.
I make no promises about my... Okay, Kudakotsu, being the Japanese equivalent of Broken Skeleton, is also a pretty good name.
Damn.
Sinis Kudakotsu is actually... Yeah, that is a pretty good cover name.
Ah, Lord Kuda. Welcome.
The instant that Yang disappeared, Angler already started to memorize the layout of the place in case we had to book it.
You don't do that whenever we enter a building?
that's kind of an unconscious thing that he just does. This is okay, I'm actually making like conscious effort, looking here, looking there. All right, making sure I memorize where the guards were. I do not want to get into a fight.
Ingress, egress, egress, ingress.
Where are the thin walls that I could just say, hey, Obsidian, hit that thing, do some boom football tackle action, and we can knock through. It'll be fine.
Yeah. So
I think you have more strength than me.
I have 4. How much do you have?
4. Okay, we're even.
Angler is just better at leveraging the center of gravity rather than being huge. But yeah, no, the rest of the hearth can feel Yang just kind of peeling off via the hearth connection, going off on his own direction.
Milan is going to use word carried winds to message towards where I last, just as Yang disappeared. We need him identifiable at least.
Out of character, Obsidian loves this because A, it's going to be hilarious as hell, and B, if this guy's dead, there might be a reason that we don't have to go to the Isles.
And also, and Obsidian would want this guy dead in principle anyway.
Yeah, fuck this guy.
Yep. Hey, if we need to find another way to go home, we'll find another way to go home. But Angler's like, oh man, I should have been more specific with Yang ahead of time.
So for some reason, I'm actually in the kitchen, in the basement. That's the first place I peeled off to.
All right.
What they got in the pantry? Can I roll a survival check for just like what's in there?
Do you say what?
What's in the pantry? I'm just rifling around in their pantry right now.
I mean, they've got a pretty good selection. It's not as fancy as you would get in Grey Falls, but it is about as fancy as you're going to get for a royal pantry out here. There's plenty of preserved meats. There's even a fair amount of fresh meat. It's about the right season.
So would they have a pepper grinder, like a manual turn one somewhere?
They would have spice grinders, yeah.
I unscrew the top of the spice grinder and just whisper, "I'm gonna end him rightly," and do it.
What?
You're gonna say that again? I didn't catch what you said.
I'm just gonna whisper, "I'm gonna end him rightly" into the unscrewed spice grinder head.
And is that using wind carried words to respond, or are you just doing that?
I'm using that to respond. Yeah.
Okay, so hey, Milan, you get a response.
I want to roll a composure check.
Frightening.
What would I roll for to keep my composure and
appearance integrity? I guess it would be to just not visibly flip your shit.
Ooh.
Yang picks up the pepper grinder and holds it like a phone.
I'm in.
He does that first and then unscrews it.
Against all fucking odds, the only reaction visible from Milan when you hear Yang just Batman growling into your brain is that your mustache just flops and twitches a little bit.
The ends go slightly poofy.
Yeah. Boing!
Like when a cat gets startled.
Mm-hmm. But yeah. Yang is currently in the kitchen. The rest are currently in the foyer, looking. There's the audience hall is currently locked off and barred by guards that are eyeballing you in the sense of, like, do you want to go in there or what? And it is clear that the rest of the theocracy has taken up habitation in the rest of the building. It's unclear where Flowing River or other people in particular might be. The trial is presumably going on in his royal chamber. Yang, is there anything you're particularly looking for, as I say, as the chocobo music is going on?
I am stalking up and down the halls and looking for anywhere that has some sort of armed presence.
There is actually no armed presence, and as you are looking around, you realize that this is because everybody here is trained in martial arts. They don't need weapons.
Okay, so I'm just gonna find the help then and go, excuse me, I'm the doctor. Where is the patient stored?
Roll me.
I'm gonna use really vague words to ask where I'm supposed to be as a professional doctor, like I was called here or some shit.
Right. Roll me manipulation larceny, just for blatant lying and talking double talking your way through this.
Really?
They give you a very confused and puzzled look of like, a patient? They're kind of looking at each other. It's like, do you know anybody who's sick? I don't know.
No, a
But back to-
checkup. Not sick, not ill. I am here to ensure they are in good health.
They look at each other again. I'm sorry. Did you have a name, a description?
I'm gonna start speaking in Old Realm to cover and pretend like I'm bad at this language.
Okay.
And I'm gonna stalk away like they're too. I'm gonna pretend that like they're both beneath me and don't know what I'm talking about. That's how I'm gonna get out of this one.
Okay. They just give each other a very confused look, but like you get the feeling they're not gonna report you or anything, but they're very much gonna remember you if anything happens.
Who the fuck is this dude?
Yeah, what the hell was that kind of reaction?
Dr. Bones doing here?
So, meanwhile, what is the crew topside doing?
Milan's doing that rapid eye twitching thing of, okay, I need to think through a new plan. Let's see. Okay, I'm not gonna be able to stop Yang. Don't really want to, but okay, word carries winds to Angler. Okay, change the plan. We're here to collect his body after he is executed for the crimes that he is currently being judged on. We're not here to take him alive because that's going to be an impossibility. And I'm deliberately sounding like stressed out and shit.
The question is, would Angler take that, or would Angler counterpropose?
Angler sends back a message saying, Yang knows we want to head back to the island with him alive. I trust Yang to not royally screw the two of us over by killing him now. However, if he does it, we'll make a plan up after it happens. But I'm not going to try to get in his way now because that's just going to increase the number of people who are probably going to die. We are not starting. Oh, and then he will realize he said too much and then whisper himself and say, we are not starting a fight here. That will only make it worse.
I'm going to give just a visible slight nod as though I'm looking at like some sort of decoration, but directed at Angler. 2 minutes later. Oh, by the way, he figured out how to do what we're doing right now.
Neat. It's about time, really. I mean, this is something we all learned back on the island in like 2 minutes, so it's really weird that he didn't know how to do it already.
Yeah, it definitely seems like his house taught him poorly on purpose.
As a joke.
Actually, the majority of what Angler is thinking as we're slowly going down this procession led by the monks is, man, I really hate this setup they're doing. It's just deferential to a fault, and it's just making the system much worse.
Yep. So, basically, you're given the option of you can get taken to the trial room, or you can look around for flowing river. Depending on which one you want to be doing right now.
Milan is going to be going to the trial room.
Angler will also be going to the trial room.
Would anyone else be peeling off?
I'd follow the two.
Which leaves Repose.
Yeah, Repose will be on the lookout for Flowing River. Repose will disengage from the crew.
Okay, so the team of Obsidian, Angler, and Milan follow with the procession into the trial room. And there's a brief moment as you enter of remembering the moment that you entered the parliamentary chamber of Fallen River Valley as Obsidian just smashed the door down and you two walked in. This time it's a lot more subdued, but at the same time you feel like there's about equal gravity once the doors open and the eyes turn to you, and there's just this moment of, oh, fuck.
I gently open the door.
Mm-hmm.
As gently as possible. I don't want to be rude, of course.
The head inquisitor is at the far end of the room. Sinus Lysaea is bound in chains to his own throne, which has had all of the heads of the dragons knocked off of it. And there is a small convocation of what look like a mixture of novice dragon bloods and elder mortal acolytes as either the jury, or other, members of the trial. The Inquisitor looks the group up and down. I see that our visitors arrived quicker than expected by the runner's announcements. To what do I owe the pleasure?
The bow.
You note the bow was not returned.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, rude.
How many people are in the room?
Probably about, including Lysaea and the gaggle of extra people, probably about a dozen.
Is Flowing River in here?
No.
Okay. How many of the other members of this procession seem to be Princes of the Earth?
2, maybe 3. You couldn't really tell without having them see like their anima flare, but 2 of them look pretty obviously like one's got a shock of green hair and one of them has what looks like lichen for a beard.
That's a really good idea, and I wish I thought of that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Just going to take note of those, the obvious ones, and then keep an eye out for the potentials. But this is much more Vanif's and also Obsidian's territory, so it's these two to lead the way.
This is where Milan would know what to do, but Bradway is trying to formulate what Milan's
While
going
you're
to say.
formulating,
I can switch.
Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, if you need time to think, I could switch over to Repose or Yang. But if Angler,
I have one quick thing on this then before the switch. Then Angler is going to be keeping an eye in the back of his mind on where Yang is, because we can roughly sense where people are. And the minute he gets close to this room, he's going to be moving next to the prisoner.
Mm-hmm. Okay. First off, Repose wanders the halls. Gets deferential bows and nods from the other acolytes in representation of, a Prince of the Earth among them. Is actually pretty quickly able, whether or not questions are asked, to find Flowing River, as he is in one of the side rooms with the door open in the middle of a bit of a planning committee, it sounds like from the looks of it, discussing with other people, who, the nominal discussion is who is going to be in charge. The subtextual one that clearly everybody in the room seems to understand is that Flowing River is going to be in charge and what is actually going to be done once that is the case. The moment that Repose crosses past the doorway, the eyes all look up to him and just kind of like, oh, okay, hi.
All right, Repose has been taking his time getting over here since he has actually been just kind of making small talk with the various works of art that are in the halls and with the structure itself.
Mm-hmm.
And so as he, crosses over this door, there's also, just from his part, a bit of a stopping, looking interrupted from what he was doing, and just staring idly, just what?
It is a pleasure to see you again, Brother Repose.
Solomon thoughtful nod. bit of an awkward pause. Just a bit of a muttered, well, by no means allow me to interrupt your business.
Oh, well, by all means, of course. The Flowing River nods. I must ask, don't believe that we were expecting to see you. What brings you here?
Moment to take a drink.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Partially degonk throat.
Mm-hmm.
So Repose remains like evasive and just says, "Oh, my hearth has it," and can be dragged over to my hearth has taken some interest in the fate of the soon-to-be judged.
There is a bit of a color draining from Flowing River's face moment. You don't say. What kind of interest, if I may ask?
Shrug. This wasn't Repose's idea. He actively avoids thinking about regular politics.
There is a... If you want to, go ahead and roll read intentions on Flowing River, because there is an emotion flashing across his face that is not immediately decipherable.
3.
This is the face of, I don't know whether I'm overjoyed by this or really annoyed by this. This is either going to be a phenomenal addition to my day, or I'm about to have a huge headache, and I don't know which yet. And
there will be a look back of sympathy.
It seems that your reaction of not knowing and not caring is like amplifying that. Either that is even better or even worse.
So,
ladies and gentlemen, if you would excuse me for a moment, I would like to discuss something in private with Brother Repose. The other acolytes look a little surprised, but stand up and give a moment of deference and then head out as Flowing River gestures for Repose to walk in.
Alright, yeah, and they will, alright, he will enter.
Shut the door, if you would, please.
Oh no!
I was in here the whole time! Repose will, drag the doors closed behind him.
So are you going to be killing him yourselves or what?
And Repose is just because Repose also hasn't been contacted about the fact that Yang is trying to kill this man, so he's just looking surprised and a little offended by this. What?
I'm not accusing you of that, Brother Repose. No, I'm familiar enough with the activities of your hearth upon our investigation here to know the impulsive nature of several of your brothers, is why I ask.
Well, Repose will slide into the room and get seated and begin having a think about, wait, what are they doing right now?
Wait, hang on, I wasn't paying attention to them either, oh no. Flowing River just leans back in his chair, leans down underneath the table, pulls out a clay bottle, puts it on the table, uncorks it, puts out 2 glasses, pours out one, and then hovers over the second one looking at you with, get it?
tap of the finger on the table.
Pours out the other part of the glass and hands it over to you.
To my knowledge, none of them have any particular individual animosity towards the man. I didn't take the opportunity to meet him when we were last in the city. Certainly I am in no position to pass specific judgment upon the character of his work. bit of an opening sip and just settle into priest gossip.
Well, the fact that you haven't met him, frankly, means that it's not surprising that you have no personal animosity. If you had, you would. He just takes a swig himself. Frankly, it's a miracle that the Grand Inquisitor hasn't just jumped the legal process and killed him already. There has been deliberate bear baiting on both sides as to playing chicken on who wants to... How to put this? Flowing River is very obviously, as you are watching him, has been drinking a little bit already today. This is not a day that he's been enjoying. The Grand Inquisitor has a design, this prefecture, that I am going to be included in, regardless of my feelings on the matter. And seeing that design derailed is potentially something that I would not be opposed to, but I also want to keep in mind any particular blowback of this being derailed, as especially my Abbott's reaction.
Yes, I had overheard trace whispers of your alleged promotion.
Word travels fast, I assume. I won't question to who. There's plenty of people who'd be listening, plenty of people who would be interested. But, yes, it's no particular secret that I have asserted my moral standings for the last time in the Inquisitor's eyes, if I shall be blunt. Apparently, wanting to follow the actual scripture and rules and legal precedents of the realm in terms of the rights of prisoners is just a little too annoying for the man when he has an idea already set in mind of what he wants to do at the end of the process. And when he had his designs for the Fallen River Valley so dramatically altered by your appearance, and I will not credit myself as much as you, but my own dealings under the table to undermine his ability to get hooks in the place, I believe that he decided that he would be rid of me, so that if an opportunity ever arose again, he would be much more able to act without guilt upon his conscience or a snitch to the heavens.
Big sigh. Sympathetic vibrations.
Can we smash cut to something?
If you want to smash cut to Yang for a moment, but we're currently going between Repose and Flowing River discussing.
Oh, okay, I just came back.
Yeah, no, this is... Flowing River has been found in Repose's...
Repose is catching up.
Now... excuse me, I've been, taking the edge off of my worries, as it was today. I am of mixed opinions on this matter, as frankly I believe that this place does need a more moral and guiding hand that would keep it in lines with the tenets of the heavens and the earth. But it being at the cost of the Grand Inquisitor not having... Well, there would be other brothers and sisters who would be more willing to rein him in, but few would have had as much practice as I did. So that much does worry me. I will confess that. Confess. But surely you must know what the intended idea was from your brothers when they came here for the prefect, or the erstwhile Sinus.
Blank stare.
I'm thinking that we actually verbally
talked. Idea. He just followed.
No, but like, you get this odd, another odd look. Why young above? I envy that ability. Just slams the glass back on the table.
Beep.
Sometimes I wish I had the latitude to do the same thing, but it appears the fates did not have that in mind for me when I took upon the mantle. Apparently their design was either to act as the second conscious of one of the enlightened who should know better, frankly. You can tell, even through the drunkenness, there was a moment of, am I safe saying this to somebody? Or, it is my lot in life, from some grievous misdeed in my past life, to be on the sidelines and watch this happen. However this develops, we shall see.
I propose Will set down his glass and, slide it to I am done drinking distance when it has barely been touched. Mm-hmm. As he do. And yet, would your move, this locale, place you so far from danger? So far from matters of import?
In the
you will lose the operator proposes. There's not a break there for that. He's gonna.
Okay, yeah.
You will lose the opportunity to make acute corrections to the Inquisitor's course of affairs, but in times of greater importance, would you not wield more influence, acting as prior of a province?
That I would.
Than as a mere abbot's aide.
That I would, honorable brother, but the worry I have is that the Inquisitor is so long viewing in his view, in his perspective, in his thought. Acute response feels like the only way that one can outplay him at his game, for trying to play the grand scope, trying to play the grand influence, trying to outthink him. I am allotted mere decades upon this earth, let alone the will of the dragons. I would be as a babe playing against a master of Gateway. My one advantage would be to confront him before he has finalized his ideas, or when he's too distracted to think too quickly. That is my primary worry.
Loading, player thinking.
Yeah, fair enough.
And you do admit yourself that your disadvantage in such negotiations will grow more pronounced as the years advance.
This is true.
It must be kept in mind in strategy that the first and most profound of choices is always to decide which battles you will face.
I
propose engaging in an appropriate clerical level of offering the suggestion of, why don't you just hold the L and move on to doing anything else with your life?
I suppose that is the wisdom of Mars. Thank you. Uncle Repose. This has been a considerable source of distress, but perhaps I need to consider that the design of the elements and of the heavens will sort out correctly in the end. After all, who am I to question them?
Season's willing, we endure. And we can drop out of specific dialogue to avoid having this drag on too long, but Repose is willing to catch him up on what we found in Trident River in exchange for any news he has about how investigations have gone on their side. Repose is very properly mad about there being another element active in the field, and he would like to know if they have seen anything that has evaded him. He won't volunteer it, but he now knows that he was incorrect in his initial assessment of what happened with the ape incident.
Right. Their initial investigations of that incident indicate some sort of infernomancy, just shenanigans of something to do with hell that they are uncomfortable with. Their current thought process is that it is probably some sort of heavily occluded second circled cult that is able to set things up long term and had infested the government, but it still doesn't completely add up in that sense. And the other thing that has them particularly worried is that the cause of execution for the head priest of this region was just basically criminal negligence was the final execution point. But another thing against him was that he in fact did dabble a little bit in sorcery and demonic summoning, and of course there is nothing against that as explicitly in the laws of the Immaculate Texts. But the thing that stood out to them was that he was an infernalist. He did mess around with hell. And not only did he not see any of this coming or report any of this, because one of the primary reasons as an Immaculate to mess around with demons is to get information on this sort of thing. If anything, it is entirely possible that he might have accidentally let information slip back into Malpheus if he had been an idiot. There is no concrete information about that. They weren't able to really pry that out of him, as he didn't really think about that when he was doing demon stuff, but it became clear over the course of interrogations that he didn't really keep OPSEC either. So any number of things that this monk knew may have gotten into the mindset of enough demons in Malpheus that God only knows that it could have transferred around. So the Immaculate current investigation is sitting at, there is some sort of organized activity of unknown scope, but clearly impressive ability to connect with the unclean, but extremely loud question mark as to what is going on beyond that.
Alright, yep. So in exchange for that, tips to pass along that, as he has already heard, we confronted Blood Beast on the battlefield and destroyed it. Everyone from the Bronze Empire who probably would have been at high risk of continuing his regular and spiritual crimes died there in the act. They all wound up, sacrificed into the blood. So far, things seem to have returned to their normal level of provincial up in the valley.
He actually just kind of laughs a little uncontrollably at that. He is at that level of drunk at that euphemism just making him crack up.
And the more serious thing to follow along with that is appropriately prefix that he can kind of steal himself is our current intel regarding the Abyssal.
That immediately that like halfway sobers him up just to hear that word.
That, to our best available knowledge, he's currently very seriously entertaining the thought of making a move against the local Lunars. Best case scenario, this means he has invited his own annihilation in a way that will also damage the local Lunars.
There's a look that flashes across Flowing River's face of like, let them fight?
Yes, let them fight. Foes agrees. More medium case assessment of this is it will delay any further operations against people on our side of the cliff.
Mm-hmm. He's topside for now.
I suppose also worked in there would be just a status check that Steel, Steel? Steel's doing fine.
Yeah, there's a nod of appreciation. Always a good one, that one. Always a good seed. Ran the place very well.
And all right. So reluctantly, trailingly, way in the end of this as a final note, also thinking about moving. I've reestablished the monastery in Trident River, and we'll be thinking about moving in there for a bit. Neighbor. Maybe.
There is a long pause as he's like visibly having his face load his emotions, and then you realize, as Repose is kind of just going like, you realize that this is the face of someone who doesn't care. Like, okay, you're spiritually shepherding the people over on the other side of the region, and you're not going to be inviting a direct plague upon my house. I don't care. Like, he is drunk enough to have the filters over. Honestly, do whatever you want to. I don't give a shit. I'm not actually really that orthodox. Like, this is somebody who would be pretty sympathetic to the Vigil if not for being a trained and pretty, hidebound immaculate in terms of education. Like, he still probably would not really approve of the ghost stuff or all of the sun worship or the talking overtly about the primordials and Gaia and things like that. But, like, he also doesn't really care if you don't make it his problem.
We're at the level of professional disagreements about theology, not knife fights in the street about theology.
I disagree with you, but you're still doing a good job, so I don't care.
We are on the same side of the more important line.
Yeah. If there was literally nothing else in our lives, we might argue about this at length, but
we wish times were good enough that we could fight about this.
Yeah.
That would be great.
It would be fantastic if we could get into a sparring match about this. We've got bigger problems.
Anseen.
Yep. And either, Milan, do you have the speech in mind yet?
I do.
Okay, we can cut back to you and then gang later.
I actually also have a game action. We can do
go ahead.
One or other the first.
Well, what is the action first as a question?
The action is what my speech is trying to do. I'm trying to do a persuade action on him.
Okay, tell me what it is first, then do your speech, and I will assess if there's stunt die or any situational bonuses.
Okay. I am making a persuade action for I think it's going to be a serious task. And that task is he is to hand over Sinis Lysaea to us because he has overstepped his bounds. Sinis Lysaea is not guilty of any spiritual theocratic crime. He is guilty of mortal crimes, and thus it is in the purview of the realm's court.
Okay, yeah, go ahead and give your in-character actions and reactions.
All right, warming up. Before I begin, Inquisitor's name. Would I know it?
I swear that I gave the name off a cuff when I introduced him and then forgot it. I apologize. I don't know where in my notes it is. He's just the Inquisitor for now.
Inquisitor, I greet you on this fine day. I commend you on your swift and just ruling on the former priests of this land. 'Tis a shame when members of the order turn so selfishly to illegal actions of the heavens. But I come to you this day for this man. Now, I have been in this prefecture as of late, and I know this man's crimes. I can tell you he has committed no crime against heaven, but countless crimes against the realm and his people. You have made a grave misstep right this day, putting him to trial as such. You have no jurisdiction over this man. The realm, however, does. And then I go on to list his numerous crimes.
Specific legal codes of the realm. As you are doing this, the Inquisitor looks slowly more and more like he just bit into a lemon, while Lysaea looks like he's not sure whether or not... Okay, is this a better thing for me, or am I about to die an even worse death? I don't know.
As soon as I get to talking about the scarlet crime of king making, that he has put himself...
I'm going to die!
He has put himself on the same level as her... I trip over saying...
As grandma, great-grandma.
I trip over saying because I don't like her, but he is to be tried by the realm for his crimes against the realm. For this disgusting mockery of the capital he has made. And in addition to king making, he is being tried for, oh, you fucked up so many building and landscaping.
You have fucked up every building code on the list, and also your taste is atrocious.
Yes.
I said it a while ago. The highest crime that the two chuckle fucks in this place committed was the same. It was making the rest of us look bad.
Yes.
Yes.
Crimes against the dignity of the host.
And yeah, no, the realm has explicit legal codes against making the realm look bad because it's a tyrannical empire.
Yeah, and yeah, it's... My persuasion is, this guy's fucked up so hard and made us look bad, we have higher authority here. You need to hand him over to us right now.
I'd like to confess that I have consorted with demons.
Shut up.
Okay.
Shut up.
When Milan says that, I just smack him upside the back of his head. Not Milan's head, the guy.
Now,
all right.
The adults are talking. Shut up.
All right. Now, for actual game action, I'm using Persuade Serious Task with the intimacy of laws should serve the society, not the individual. He has committed crime against society, not the specific Inquisitor and such. He is owed... that is where I'm going with is we have laws for a reason, not to serve you, Inquisitor, but to serve society.
You may do that, and you may add any excellencies you have, and 3 die of stunt.
Excellent. Socialize? Probably socialize.
Yeah, this would be socialize or bureaucracy. Socialize, I'd say, because you're making an argument with the law, but it is still an argument.
All right. Let's have fun. Let's go all out. Flow. 10 motes.
The X-death of social roles is approaching.
Only now, the decisive argument begins.
Willpower for 6. Willpower for 8.
8 successes. Even with an excellency, the Inquisitor can't stop this. And the Inquisitor is also having an intimacy that is playing directly into this.
Oh.
The Inquisitor gives you a long look of just deep, deep irritation of you walk in here and you fucking step over me and you just... I had a thing going and... But and also at the same time is visibly going, you're right in every single thing that you're saying.
With my eyes giving back to him, because I have that tie of mutual distrust, so I'm giving that look of, you back the fuck off.
I concede your point of jurisdiction, Master Vanif. It was presumptuous of me to have claimed this trial without consulting at least the bureaucracy of Grey Falls, let alone the greater bureaucracy of the realm. I deemed it that it was wise to be expedient about the process in the light of the spiritual crimes and dangers that were present in the area. But you are correct that in the name of our Scarlet Empress, may she live on forever, it is correct and proper to follow her dictates and her laws as to how traitors against the throne are handled. And I apologize for being expedient about them.
Your apology is accepted by the realm.
May I make a read intentions on this person specifically to see if there's any chance that this person is not going to be an enemy to us for the rest of our lives?
Oh, I've already declared him an enemy for life, personally.
Go right ahead, though, Angler.
2 successes.
You don't need... You got any. He hates your guts. This is twice now that you have thwarted his personal ambitions. He has it out for you personally.
Okay, at that point, Angler will speak up at this point and turn to Milan and say, Milan, I believe under the jurisdiction that you have spoken of and the laws broken that we need to make sure that a magistrate appointed by the Isle should come out here and oversee the reconstruction of the Jade Orchid Prefecture. Isn't that correct?
I twitch!
This is out of character giggling.
No, I know.
Yep. Oh. I just want to soak it in for a sec. Yes, I do believe there is in fact a law. And I'm just going to list off some...
Yeah, no. Honestly, actually, just roll me wits bureaucracy real quick. You can think of one that would give the magistrate a... Basically, he would still have the authority to appoint the spiritual leader, but it would, if the magistrate arrives, then the spiritual leader would be explicitly secondary and only able to handle clerical matters rather than the administration of the prefecture. So, like, following River will probably still end up here, but be subordinate to Furious Cascade.
Yes. And I'd like to establish that it is also, in fact, the... I was about to say something, and then my own brain went, no, that's against Milan's character. Don't say that. Don't establish that.
Fair enough.
Angler has one more thing he'd like to play if Milan is starting to wind down on the legal ease that is being spoken of.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I understand it will be several months before a magistrate can come out here. However, I believe there is also one last thing where if the Jade Orchid Prefecture would like, they can appoint a magistrate of their own people until one from the Isle can be positioned to them. In fact, I believe there is a young lady who lives nearby who's the name, and he will make up a name if he doesn't want to actually say Burr's name out loud.
Yeah.
But she would be an excellent overseer since she was one of the people leading the rebellion against this horrible monstrosity that has the same name as a prince of the earth.
There is actually a very quiet hissing, steaming kettle on the pot noise coming out from the Inquisitor as a small wisp of steam is beginning to emit from, like, the top of his head. Like, he visibly is perfectly composed, just too perfectly composed. I believe that you are correct. I understand when there is a flash of like 1,000 emotions across his face. I understand when I have been beaten.
For you to be beaten, there had to be a fight.
A hand curls into a fist.
I had to do it.
A hand curls into a fist of just visible, oh, I'll give you a fight, and then looks over to the crowd of his own acolytes, looks back to the fact that there is an 8-foot tall fire aspect in the room.
The funny thing is, the fire aspect isn't even that great at fighting, but he doesn't know that.
Yeah, you're still a visible brick shithouse.
It's very large.
And there's I'm not gonna say noodly, but plain built bureaucrat just staring this guy down like
zero fear.
I can take you. No fear. Zero fear.
Fine. Do what you want with the bastard. He just like unceremoniously turns around and storms out the back exit of the room.
As he is stepping out, I'm gonna speak up one thing. Oh, you are welcome in matters regarding to the blood anathema that we took care of. Just gotta twist the knife.
There is a pause, and again, just literally, and somebody in chat actually called it, you can tell that his anima banner is beginning to flare by the sheer amount of motes he is pumping into keeping himself from losing his shit via, like, guile and composure charms.
Just twist that knife right in the gut.
And you are welcome for the Immaculate Order's continued willful ignorance of your flouting of certain religious tenets in your brotherhood. Do not push me, or that will not remain calm.
Guy's blessing upon you.
Slam!
There's just dead air.
No, he just slams the door behind him.
Yeah.
What about the rest of the crew?
There's just echoing and dead air. I think that went well.
The rest of the acolytes are just kind of like, including the other two Dragon Bloods, are just kind of looking at each other, just like, One of them eventually speaks up. I understand that. He actually kind of looks around. Personally, I believe that was the correct course of action, but know that the Inquisitor has a very long memory for matters like this.
Oh, I expect him to remember. I expect you all to remember too.
Remember.
Smash cut to Yang. What are you doing?
What?
Where would Yang be in the level of a hitman setup of his current goals?
I was gonna break in at some point and say I was in the rafters. And I had this plan where I was gonna tie my stealth shroud to a noose and then like turn him into a cup and then drag that into the raft. I don't care. Whatever.
I think you should totally go for it. This would be a perfect time for that to happen.
The problem's solved. That's fine.
So here's the problem is solved in one sense, but you still have Lysaea in the room. Also, you could alternatively run into the abbot on the way out.
What, that dude that we just got into a fight with?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna tail him instead, just in case.
Alright, roll me Dex Stealth.
I'm not really too into it.
You have another +3 because of your shrub thing, don't you?
Yeah, you would be adding 3 if you're using your Octo Camo.
Do I get anything for being disguised as someone else completely different?
No. The Octo Camo would be an override benefit for that.
Yeah, the disguise will be more for if you are spotted having that layer of deniability.
Yeah. Okay, so he stops every once in a while, very clearly aware that someone or something is tailing him, but it is too visibly furious about, you're not sure what, but man, this guy is like really fucking mad about something. And is just storming through the halls and like actively shoving some of the acolytes out of his way as he is going. And give me
big man on campus.
Give me a very quick perception and occult roll.
Perception is 5, occult is 3. Alright, 8. You want a willpower?
You don't need to spend one on this. You'll get what you need if you don't.
Okay.
So you look in a passing mirror as you are going by in your Octo Camo, as the abbot is going by, and for a brief moment, just as if it had sensed your intent, or perhaps the intent of the Inquisitor, you see the bloody hand that you had seen in the Fallen River Valley, the god of murder that had followed you and it found an interest of you the first time you did the assassination.
Mm-hmm.
It's back. It's watching you, just kind of like very curiously, clearly was able to see you even through your disguise of just, well, are you going to kill him or what?
Is it interested if I'm going to kill the abbot or Lysaea?
Either or. Like, it seems to be visibly just kind of like, I spelled murder and I showed up and you're not killing anybody. What's the deal?
It's not a show. You are not... Go away. Shoot.
Yeah, this would have fit into the talk after we identified it. That, yeah, it doesn't care who you kill or why you kill, only that you kill.
And that it's interesting.
That if you kill, you should do so with, you know, full intent and a bit of theatrics. Just a little.
It kind of tilts. It does not expect for you who have seen it, and it kind of tilts its head. And you just kind of get this sense of a dog that has just been told that no, we're not going outside to go throw the frisbee. Just that kind of deflated. Oh, I wanted to see somebody die today. Oh,
yeah, and I wanted ice cream. I don't know where this is going. Anyways, shoot, go on, get.
Like a dog or a ghost.
It just kind of very sadly, but you know, irritation, sadness, and just well, whatever. Drifts down the hallway to follow the Inquisitor. I mean, that guy's pretty mad. He might end up killing somebody. I don't know.
Wait, what?
Like that's kind of the vibe you get from the god of just like, I mean, if I'm gonna be looking for somebody else who's gonna kill somebody, that guy looks pretty mad.
And he's next on the priority of all the people in here.
Yeah, like, of the people in this building most likely to imminently commit murder, it's probably the Inquisitor.
Alright, well, I'm just gonna keep tailing him then.
Alright, so back in for the moment to the throne room. The rest of the acolytes and members of the Immaculate Order have decided that now is probably a good about time to get out of here. Y'all have this one under control. It's probably best for you to not be around. And since Lysaea kind of looks back over to Angler, so you weren't really being serious about going back to the... We're cutting a deal, right? We're not actually...
Chakram, it gets embedded into the headboard.
Being wordless this entire time, just looking at him, Obsidian would finally speak up and say, "You had your chance."
I mean, is it not said by the Immaculates that every man has their chance until the last moment of their breath?
And you have plenty of opportunities to escape.
Hold up. Would look him again in the eyes and just be like, I'm not religious, man.
Oh, Milan's just thinking, I could just punch the air out of your lungs right now. I can do that.
Angler is going to take the opportunity while those two are threatening that poor person into the dirt to thank the rest of the Immaculates for being there, especially keeping an eye on the two Dragon Blood and give the, like, blood recognizes blood moment of, yeah, we know, it's okay.
Mm-hmm. Also, Sona, you were saying something?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
No, I mean, like, you can be creeping in and about now, so...
No, it's alright.
Okay. So let's say it.
Did the Inquisitor go anywhere, or is that just nothing?
The Inquisitor, I was gonna be bouncing back and forth between the scenes.
Okay.
So. Roll me, let's say, another perception occult roll with a 1-die stunt, and I'll get back to that in a second. But let's say, just kind of looks back at the others. I mean, all the way to the not even to Grey Falls? That's an awful long journey.
Yes.
But you can't really. All of that to the Inquisitor. Clearly, you were. What do you actually want?
Well, so you tried for your crimes. I wasn't bluffing. You have committed so many crimes against the realm.
And I will fully admit that, but
admitting it doesn't absolve you of guilt and responsibility. You need to face the music.
But there?
Yes.
Why there? The saxophone is right here.
I'm not risking you having any hooks on anyone in Grey Falls. We're going straight to the top.
Shit.
Besides, would you really want to be tried in Grey Falls when we can pull all of your co-conspirators along with you and then take all of you back to the island after we pull every single one of you out of the shadows?
You're gonna need you're gonna need a boat for that of considerable size.
We have one.
Obsidian laughs hard once and his face falls and just
Have you met our captain?
Wait, what?
We had a talk.
What? He actually visibly, like, this is the first person Obsidian has ever seen that may have actually legitimately forgotten Obsidian's face or body. Like, Obsidian is the world's most recognizable man, and this man is just like, oh, it's not me, I don't care. But, like, now it's actually, like, clicking into memory of just, oh shit, right.
Right, the guy with Boatman.
Fuck. Anyway, so back to tailing the Inquisitor. Yang has a very interesting moment as he's tailing the Inquisitor back to his quarters at the top of the palace, where he is staying for the moment.
Mm-hmm.
As you are looking into the room where the Inquisitor is walking in, the Inquisitor stops very suddenly in the doorframe looking at something. And you're not sure what until you follow his gaze to a black envelope on his bedside table. He walks inside, shuts the door.
Son of a bitch.
How am I gonna get in there without being seen?
Is there anyone in this entire region who hasn't been getting friend mail from Friendo? Well, if I just tip off everyone about everything, then no matter what happens, I win. I am helpful.
I'm helping.
Is he saying anything? I guess I'll just put my ear to the door.
You can hear the envelope being torn open and ruffled through, but there's no like noise of him saying anything.
I bet that's a letter from Tyrant.
Probably.
It's probably a letter from Tyrant.
Well, okay, so the other
Hmm?
mystery mail we've seen passed around, what formats did they arrive in?
Black envelopes. Your friend's mail has always showed up in a black envelope.
What color was the envelope?
Black.
So I'm dressed up as Sinus, whatever the fuck.
Yes.
I'm gonna burst into the door and go, "My friend, I saw the proceedings. How are you?"
He literally jumps a solid 3 or 4 feet in the air just by his ankles, whirling around, holding the letter in one hand to the side, clutching this chest.
I'm gonna play up the whirlwind element and just sit down next to him and clasp his back and never give him a chance to put the envelope anywhere. At least I'm gonna try as hard as I can.
All right,
I love this. This is great.
Okay, so roll me. Would this be manipulation or charisma? Because this is raw force of personality.
I'm lying. I'm using the element of surprise to lie to him, basically, and catch him off guard.
Okay, so manipulation performance, I would say, with a 2 dice stunned.
Confidencing in here as just helpful doctor. My friend, I feel that you are in distress.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, there's the patient. I found him, finally. Let's see here. What was that? Manipulation performance. So 9. Okay, 10. I give you willpower.
He is trying repeatedly to ask who you are, what you're doing, or get out of my room, but you are so just insistently, cheerily bowling through his objections and sitting him down and being like, "Oh, you look like shit. Hang on, let me get you a drink." Just completely disarming him with a charm offensive of it's the whole. Do I know you? You seem like you know me so well. Am I forgetting you?
Yeah,
Today's been a hell of a day.
I'm gonna start talking about what Sinus will say and about the specifics we talked about several weeks ago or whatever the fuck. Something plausible, but he's clearly just been way too much shit going on.
Yeah. So he's just sitting down and he folds the letter up as you're talking and puts it back on the table behind him as he's talking to you.
I have a gesture for him to sit down and stop touching the letter and sit down and talk with me on the Bye.
He basically sits down. I would have appreciated some forewarning from House Sinus showing up before the Nellens, but fine.
They did. They intercepted our mail, my boy. I couldn't get here in time. You know how it is with politics.
Seems there's a lot of that going on these days.
My friend, you do not want to be opening mail at a time like this. It will only bring more bad news. No one receives the good news during a bad day.
As my professional as a doctor with a medical opinion, you need a drink, my friend. And I'm gonna pull out a vintage wine, I guess. I free poison this, by the way. This is probably I probably have a bottle of free poison wine. But I'm just
that's something I just would say Yang has for free, yes. Yeah. What would be the poison in it, though?
Sedative, incredibly strong sedative.
Okay. You're gonna have to roll to convince him to take a drink.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna drink it.
Yeah, but your wood aspect. Oh, actually, no. That'll give you 2 dice stunned if you're drinking it yourself to show. Oh, see, that's not poison. Wood aspect.
I'm just gonna whatever 2 fucking. I think actually one of my charms specifically makes poison.
Wood aspect lets you just spend a single mote to turn off any non-supernatural poison, just point blank.
I'm just gonna look for 2 cups in his house somewhere. And just gonna take a wine bottle out of my jacket that it was probably in there. I was probably planning to bribe him the entire time. This happens sometimes. Pour 1, pour 2. Immediately start drinking and go like, "Come on, let's just talk politics, boy. I know how to get you out of this mess."
Just chug the entire glass in a single go. Like, yeah, he has some nice wine glasses already and a bottle of wine on his own, but you just chug it right in front of him and just pour another one and it's like, here, have a go. Yeah, roll me again, manipulation larceny with a 2 dice stunt.
I just got back. What is going on?
My cousin!
Yang is doing
Never
Yang
mind.
things.
I'll just let's just see how this goes.
Another willpower.
All right.
No, drink. I am prescribing this to you. It is medicine now, not indulgence. You take.
He very visibly has like a good 3 or 4 seconds of resisting it, of like, I really should not do this. I really should not. And you realize that, funnily enough, the scene in the courthouse made him blow through enough of his willpower and motes to stop social, like, antagonization. He can't actually stop this. So he just is like, fuck it. It's been a long day.
There you go. There you go. Now, of course, as the physician in the house, I prescribe a little nap.
Of course, I will get to it as soon as.
No, you get to it now.
You son of. And let's see if you have to deal with an angry attack for a round or 2. Yeah, you do. Roll me join battle.
Alright, where's my joint battle? Fuck. Okay, it's 11. Does that have the plus? This probably has the plus 3. Don't you roll 11d10 or?
You roll the wits awareness, etc.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So that is 1 second. Let me just turn on the token clock, and I'm gonna have to put Yang down just to have a tracker somewhere. Hang on. So at turn 1, 2, 3, 4. So you got an initiative of 10. You got a good roll. He is pretty much gassed, but he is also a high-ranking immaculate, so he is pretty good at martial arts generally. Hey, do you know what you're really super fucking good at?
Dodging?
Goose style. What is Goose style good at?
Yeah, I've been thinking about it.
Goose style is explicitly good against people who are mad at you.
Yeah. Do I get the first turn? Okay.
Yes,
yeah.
you do. I won.
So yeah, I guess I'll just backflip off the couch and actually no, I'm gonna kick flip the table at him after he takes a drink and realize what's happening while I'm sitting.
All right. Give me. Let's call that a. Did you ever? No, you didn't ever. Did you ever brawl? Or
no, I've never gotten brawl.
Okay, so
how much would it be to get 2 in brawl? Because I could just say I've been doing that. I've just been forgetting to do that.
It would be a total of 5 to go from 0 to 2.
5.
And you've been training at Brawl for
I should probably have 3.
It's probably one of the things you haven't been spending XP on, but should have.
If Brawl 0 to 3, how much is that? Because I probably just should have that.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say I have 3 Brawl. I think that's 10. Okay, yeah, I can afford that.
It would be a total of 9 to go from 0 to 3?
Yeah, alright, I can afford that.
Yeah. There you go. That's why you had all the extra X lying around. You had justified points that you forgot about.
Yep.
So yeah, brawl plus what?
Dexterity brawl would be your attack.
So 8. Garbage.
Well, it would normally not hit, but the poison is starting to kick in, so that exactly hits his DV. So now you roll damage, which in this case...
What is the damage of a table?
That's a great fucking question. I have to double check on that.
Improvised weapon?
That would be like a medium improvised weapon, I would say. So I don't remember how those work offhand. Give me one moment. Right, and I forgot Goose Style lets you ignore the negative penalty to improvised as a tag, so you don't need to spend initiative to use it, which means that it is just a medium weapon, which means that it is 9 damage. So you are rolling your strength plus
Large or
9.
bulky improvised weapons like tables or chairs are treated as a mace or hammer with the improvised tag.
Yep, which is medium.
I have 1 strength.
So you roll 10 for your damage.
Just 10, just 10d, whatever.
Yep.
10d, 10.
Okay, the normal flaw of an improvised weapon is it costs 1 initiative to attack with it.
Okay.
Doesn't
And because
affect the stats.
him being taken completely aback, you are before him in initiative. This is an ambush. You are clocking him straight in the face with a table. He is not completely crashed, but he's damn near close to it, and you gain 8 initiative. You are at 18, and he's at 1. So, basically, as he realizes that he has a quick-acting sedative now coursing through his body, it is a lovely day in the Jade Orchid Prefecture, and you are a horrible goose, and you just kickflip the table over directly under his jaw and knock him flat on the ground as he is fuming and seething and just like crawling out from under the table trying to get to you, scrambling for anything. Like he's not even armed. He doesn't even have his weapons on him. He's trying to go for his own unarmed attack. And he's an air dragon stylist, so he is actually at a pretty significant disadvantage barehanded without having motes. So, all you need to do is not get clocked by this attack, and he will be unconscious because of how thoroughly you have rumbled him. So,
yeah, try it.
Okay, and your defense value is...
Well, do I dodge this or do I get hit? Okay.
Evasion. So you get hit with 2 threshold successes, which means his damage on his unarmed attack is that. And your soak is 4, so... Alright, yeah, he manages to, grab you by the shirt and try to drag you back down to the ground with him as he begins to slump unconscious, but his grip slackens as it lets go, and he just falls over. He's just slumps and just completely goes unconscious.
I'm gonna poke him a few times and ask, "You awake?"
No, he lights out.
I grab the letter and bolt out a window. Someone probably heard that.
Yep, so you are outie, and the rest of the crew can probably feel the brief burst of adrenaline from over in Yang's direction, but hey, wait, hang on, you're right next to Lisea. What would he have done?
That's weird. He did a move, but Lisea is alive.
You got the move of Yang doing a thing, but you're not next to the person that he was gonna go, oh, fuck.
Yang? I say overword carries wins.
Wind carries words.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
fuck. I say not over the message, but in the room.
The instant he says fuck, I do like a acupuncture pressure point thing on our charge and knock him unconscious.
Actually, I'm gonna over Wind Carry Words method. I'm just gonna do wee you Tyrant Alert Inquisitor.
Yeah, that guy is now unconscious. Very unconscious.
Lysaea is extremely knocked out and still in chains.
Okay.
I'll go get repose.
You know, it would look better if you're doing this. Obsidian, would you mind carrying this person?
Yeah, I huck him over my shoulder.
Everything looks better when Obsidian's doing it.
Yes. I realized that the first week of us playing this game.
All right, so yeah, about now would probably be about when Repose is leaving the conversation with Flowing River, and turns out into the hallway
immediately walking into this.
Yeah, sees Repose. Repose sees Obsidian hauling Lysaea over the shoulder, unconscious. A very panicked-looking Angler and Milan just busting out, and you don't see Yang.
Oh, is that why you came here? Looking over. Yeah, just shuffling up, looking over Lysaea. Like leaning in to start looking at Lysaea, then leaning back briefly to ask and like pointing at him, "Did you kill him?"
Doom.
No.
Do you sense doom?
Good question. All right, immediately activate. Awareness augmented by where's the doom?
Ain't no doom in this building, Chief.
All right, well, Repose is properly tensed up and alert, but not today.
I hope I just got a love letter in a black envelope.
This might be actual green mail. Well, purple mail, not green mail. It would make sense for the abbot to be receiving purple messages.
It is a question how much of these black envelopes is purple and how much is green. Or if it is just entirely one or the other.
Should we
Maybe black envelopes just got popular and nobody noticed.
Do we drag the Inquisitor with us so we can interrogate him about his mail, or?
I thought you killed him.
What? No, he's just unconscious.
You gave him enough fast
out of character. I think you just interrupted Purple's attempt at recruiting him.
Well, Purple can write again if that's what it is.
Yeah.
What's important is we will know. What's important is we should leave.
quick like.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess over Wind Carried World methods, I'll explain why I did this. Like I saw
your work
I saw
is
a very
done
clear
here.
tyrant mail.
Cool. We're going now.
So yeah, just there's a smash cut to the gang running down the middle street with, let's say, unconscious like a sack of potatoes over Obsidian's shoulder as everybody is still inside the buildings, just kind of like, well, bye. We're
It's
not
not
looking
a
at that.
rung. It's a the official walk, just with purpose.
Full on sprint.
Just with purpose and just a good walking stride.
The moment there is a large enough clearing, cast the fucking Stormwind Rider and we get out of here.
We are just going at a very sedate pace. There's no problems whatsoever.
Worry not.
Angler is the only one doing the power walk. Everybody else is just out of here.
Worry not, everyone. He will be found guilty of his crimes against you. Your lives will be made more fruitful and bountiful with him gone. I wish you all well. Goodbye.
Yeah, the moment you're able to get outside the gates, Yang is waiting there, and you just hop on the cloud and bail.
So did Yang bring the Inquisitor or no?
No, the Inquisitor is unconscious in his office.
Either side is hysterical, so I'm okay with it. It's just more of I wanted to make sure how many bodies are we bringing with us?
Just the one.
The one.
It's a 2-for-1 special. It's great. Oh, okay.
So yeah,
It's
you
supposed
are.
to be so easy.
Yeah, so we got out. I
Got out of there.
I give the note to someone who can read.
Who in particular, just out of curiosity? Or who would take it out of Yang's hands first?
Suppose we'll collect it, since this has been insinuated that this is Doom related, but we'll also be reassured. Yeah, you can read.
I can?
Opening of
you
mail.
have eyes.
What are we looking at?
The letter is unfolded, and it is very actually short and not in a cipher, and there is no secondary letter connected with it this time. It is just a letter from your friend. It is Grand Inquisitor. It's come to my attention that you have received several recent setbacks. I would extend my condolences to you. God. What was the rest of this letter? I did not expect this one to be found. Legitimately, Sana, you just threw a huge wrench in my thought process because I did not expect this letter to be found.
You can give us vague bullet points.
The bullet point is basically, rather than doing the exact wording on this one because it matters less.
The texture has not finished loading in on the letter. It's very blurry.
Yes, you did a fucking skip through the walls and all of the letter. The letter has not rendered yet. Basically, the gist of the letter is: so you have had your plans foiled repeatedly by those meddling kids. What a shame. I've been keeping tabs on them myself. If there is anything I can do to provide you information or assistance, feel free to basically respond to this letter by writing another one out and burning it, and I'll get it. Not so much a overt I will snitch on them for you, but it's certainly notable that these people who keep fucking with everything are fucking with you too now. Maybe you want some help with that.
Alright, so I feel like we should all throw some languaging dice at this to try and suss out which of our two spy authors this feels more like.
Angler's going to use Bloodhound nose technique to make sure that he has the scent of whom this is.
Yeah, does this have the lie stink?
Is this lie or is this elsewhere?
This has the lie stench.
Okay. Because I can't go any further beyond just being able to attach to the lie stench. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So he will mention that, and then I'm going to try to see if I can read any sort of hidden message in there. A cipher, perhaps?
Go right ahead. You can roll probably wits linguistics on that, and repose. Yeah, wits linguistics would be the analytical roll on this.
Just double checking, make sure I've got this right. Plus that and that. Okay.
So has the name Your Friend been signed the same way each time that it has shown up?
It has had the same appearance every time, yes.
Alright, so as part of warming up to having a think about this, Repose is going to take out and set aside a practice writing surface, and just, in each of the calligraphies that he is familiar with, write out ways you could phrase your friend.
Mm-hmm.
These kind of, weird scheme gremlins are exactly the kind of assholes who would try to hide some kind of cute double joke inside their chosen alias. He's going to go fishing for synonyms and lookalikes and other such.
Go ahead with the one die stunt on that. Angler, in the meantime, you're not sure?
No success. No results.
Okay. Repose just literally writes down very unimaginative direct translations of your friend into the languages that he knows, and it's just like, well, that just says your friend in all of them. I got nothing. Angler, in the meantime, roll me intelligence occult to see if you get an additional layer here. Angler?
Crumb, you might be muted.
Or looks like Crumb just muted, so there might be a momentary distraction.
Sorry, what's up? What's up?
Just roll me into occult to see if you get an additional layer of information.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
I had been distracted by a shiny thing.
It's okay. I've occasionally been distracted by cat on lap today, so.
You said into cult?
Yes.
Oh boy.
Well, other
It's
people may be
fine.
able to make.
Look how fine it is. I'm
Look
gonna
how
willpower that to 4.
You're thinking about this from the ciphers, and you're trying to think about this from the perspective of different authors, and then one thing strikes you as you go over what Repose and Sun Guangyong told you about the Agents of Heaven, is that they're the people who work with destiny and fate and predestination and how things should go. The fact that this letter was there maybe 2 or 3 minutes after this guy had his plan thwarted, that's not something you just do. You can't just, like, let's assume demons aren't psychic. Demons don't see the future.
Which means he was there. Or they were there, able to see and watch.
Or, because Repose didn't smell anything, not even there was doom here and it's gone. No, nothing.
This was purple.
I
Or
have
associate of purple.
Mm-hmm.
I have a roll I want to make. Based off of, because this is outrageously vague. This letter is just like, hey, do you want the power?
Mm-hmm.
And with like no real follow-up. I'm actually gonna make a roll that I have a bit of a disadvantage in for a very obvious reason. I am vamping for time, so I can look at charms.
Sure, go ahead. And honestly, deliberately leaning into a weakness to search for something is something that I will often regard like stunt dice for. So
Yeah. Okay. I'm using this with tactics means everything to make a manipulation war roll to see if there is some other tactic that whoever is sending these letters is trying to perform, because as we have joked about, hey, is there anybody in this realm that is a high-ranking position that isn't fucking getting letters?
Mm-hmm. Go ahead and roll that with a 1 die stunt.
Okay. And I need to remind myself that means bonus die. Okay. It's a wombo excellency because yeah. It's war. Anyway. It's thinking. There we go. Well.
Well, Obsidian thinks to himself for a moment and thinks, is there anybody that is not getting these letters? And then realizes that there is a brief moment of, wait, it doesn't have to be everybody. It's just everybody that we are directly encountering. It's us. We are the continual common link. We are the focus of attention of this. This is something that is, like, again, and combined with Angler's revelation, if mentioned out loud, of, like, this was way too fast to just be pre-planned. This was something had to know this happened, write that letter, and send it in the matter of minutes, and, like, not have any trace of it on the inside. This feels like a spur-of-the-moment thing that happened because this was, like, not expected as to have happened. And in addition to that, it feels as though the only way you can really describe it is that this feels like an attempt to salvage something. Like, wait, hang on, fuck. Like, this is a letter that, yeah, all of the other Your Friend letters, both the ones that may be authored by the Sidereal or the one that may be authored by the Evil Stank, have both been very in-depth and very tailored and very, like, explanatory or, like, needles and hooks into people, and especially have been interested in showing people information about other people. Like, this one was just blasted out as a general purpose to whom it may concern on no notice.
I would emphasize that immediately. This is too vague.
This is against the MO of both actors, but it's not in a way that makes it feel like a third actor so much as it feels like you just overturned a very large apple cart that somebody
we just surprised you.
Yeah, somebody just got fucking...
You got spooked.
Somebody just got... Wait, no, you can't do that. That wasn't in the cards. That wasn't planned.
Sounds like someone should have been paying better attention to the cards.
And to address the question that is floating in the chat there, and is relevant to the current situation, so part of why Fate needs an elite team of super spies is that Fate is a lot more flexible than anyone wants to admit.
Yep. Especially
exceptional people can kind of bend their fate. And Exalts are very exceptional people. The farther up the power scale you go, the more that you actually have an active say in your path through destiny.
Yep, and
this is part of why the Sidereals settled on betraying and murdering the Solars, because they're too loud. They're too rude.
Yeah, the Solars kept fucking with Fate because a in-setting thing that only Sidereals really know, nobody else really does, especially not the party, is that when you spend essence, you are changing reality, and it doesn't care what Fate says. And so if you are blowing a lot of essence on something, that can subtly alter Fate in the area. Usually on a person scale, this doesn't matter much, but every once in a while, it can seriously throw a wrench in things.
Hey, let's say there was maybe a giant war that was occurring with like 7 dragon bloods involved.
Yeah,
and they were all blowing a lot of energy at the same time.
When you then add things that are from outside the world into the mix, it becomes even more of a problem because they're genuinely off the grid and unpredictable.
Yeah, they are genuinely reality. So, some sort of immense essence-shaking, fate-warping war to the north about a week and a half ago may have considerably thrown off the timetables of a hypothetical agent of heaven who was working on a plan, and then looked down and realized, wait, where's that asshole going? Wait, no, hold on, no, get back here!
And also, yeah, old man, the fact that he, in addition to having been a practicing sorcerer for a long time, has now learned to respire and channel his internal energy. He is even more of an oddball.
Old man is breaking the laws of heaven and fate in like 3 different ways at this point.
Crime!
And that's why he rules.
Old man, they just point at old man and go, that's not supposed to happen.
Which, incidentally, to have mentioned in the recording, Doc is absent from this week's session, hence the even lower than usual level of old man activity. Weather problems struck in his area.
Yeah.
Snow.
The East Coast has been getting pummeled.
This is polar vortex times.
It has been on and off snowing in Jersey for the last 2 days.
It has gone all the way into the Midwest, so I'm not surprised that the East Coast itself is crushed.
The most snow that we've gotten in the last, 3 years, I want to say.
No comment from the West Coast.
Well, yeah. But yeah, this is an extremely the pattern spiders are just having a lot of fun right now kind of situation of well, the original plan's fucked. Let's start improvising.
Why would these idiots go there now? They know the Immaculates are there. What in their god right mind would make them go there?
This is some big Destiny, the Vex looking at the Guardians, just going, that's not how that works.
You have nailed it, actually. That is basically, if you want the tone of this letter, it is the Vex trying to go, wait, no, go back. No, wait, no. It was supposed to, go back, do it the way I wanted to do.
You can't just destroy the glass vault.
You can't just do that!
The Bene Gesserit are desperately struggling to put Paul back in the box, and he won't go in the box. Stop it.
So what you're saying is the next 4 months we're going to be dealing with more of this as we are on our way back.
Maybe, maybe not, but you certainly get the impression that this is the first time. You don't know about, evil author, but heaven author, Purple. This is probably the first thing that's happened to Purple in this region so far that Purple genuinely did not see coming. That you can be aware of. That this is, you just completely wrecked a plan.
Bring it on. By the way, as we're leaving on Cloud, I will be sending a very quick, back and forth message on Wind Carried Words with Burr saying, "Hey, guess what? You're in charge. Have fun. Sorry, you'll do a great job. Bye." Unless we're actually going to be able to take 2 minutes to go say hi to her, which I think we should really do.
You just suddenly hear the words echo in on the breeze. Good luck. And we're off.
I was gonna say, okay, you can either take the 2 minutes to duck in and not have a whole scene of that or do that. Or if you do the drive-by, I will say, as you are flying over that stretch of the forest, you just hear a distant.
No, I absolutely have to stop by this one. It's one of those, I will grab Milan by the shoulders and shove them towards Burr if they don't do it. It's we have to stop. We threw her in charge. She needs to know.
All right. And I did have one thing to mention to Repose. The Inquisitor did make subtle threats at your order if we continue to fuck with him.
Yes, they do that.
I would say Yang knocking
Repose
the guy
is
unconscious.
completely unfazed by this. Just
that's what I kind of figured for Repose of. We have been
brother,
doing this
I
for
hate to
how many
disturb
years?
you, but you might be a heretic. You might be a wanted fugitive. There have been rumblings and accusations. Really?
Brother, I don't want to worry you, but you might be a heretic. They might be against you. Yes?
Cut to Repose just reading a book with his ghost grandma over his shoulder. Yeah.
Go on.
I felt you should just be notified that he may take more direct action if he wakes up.
Oh my god.
Well, he may try.
As we're landing, I would actually turn to Yang and said 2 things. One, great job. Fantastic work. And 2, if you had actually wanted to eliminate Shake's very unconscious body, him, while the Immaculate Order was there, just to prove that they had no power to stop them, I would have been A-okay with it. So don't feel like you need to stop whatever it is you're doing because we're there.
Stopping me from killing him right now is the fact that you need him for something, and the second that it's fulfilled, I will snap his neck.
You want help? I can help you set up, make it more interesting.
No, man of him doesn't deserve anything besides just death and then being.
All right, but what if he was standing under a statue?
No, just kill him in the most business-like way. People like that love being. Just ice him. He doesn't deserve anything else.
Good.
That's
we'll
fair.
get him back as fast as we can then. Yeah, in that case,
The party priest is just nodding along in agreement at this talk about, all right, we are assassinating this guy once we're done with him, right?
And it's going to be the least entertaining way possible, right?
Yes, good.
Honestly, I
Correct.
thought I was going to walk out there with his body. I figured we were just going to carry him home.
Oh, the main reason Angler walked over to the guy is if Yang had taken a shot, he was going to intentionally move out of the way just to prove a point of, yeah, and that's what happens when you don't give him to us.
That was planned. Yes.
Yeah, Yang was just the hitman playing B power move of oh, you're not giving him up? Well, okay, fire!
And then, it would actually have been perfect because they'd be like, all right, and now we are taking his body back to the Isles.
Peace out!
Yep. I mean, hey, it was that half a second of, oh no, Yang's going to fuck everything up. No, Yang's going to make it infinitely better. What am I talking about? Yang, go for it.
Yeah. I think there was just a timing issue of Milan took his action too soon.
Happens.
Anyway.
Okay. Anyway, Burr.
Yep.
Yeah, this isn't really something that needs to be an entire full scene. This is just basically like, what the fuck did you do? What is he? Okay, god damn it. Okay, yeah. Basically, like, I will step in and do this. You owe me so much.
That you hate it means that you're going to do a fantastic job.
Mm-hmm.
We owe you.
Yes, we owe you by giving you a magistrate who's going to be infinitely better than the person who was here before.
Mm-hmm.
Also, some other favors down the road. Don't worry about it. Okay, bye. And then jump on the cloud and just go.
There is a very nowhere actually near in a direction to threaten you, but still kind of a send a message knife that embeds itself in the doorframe as you walk out.
Mm-hmm.
Just god damn it.
All right, so to reassert some stability into the panicked route from our success.
We succeeded, bail!
Actually, the main reason I want to get out the door is I immediately want to have a conversation with the lunar solar pair. But yes, go ahead.
Well then,
okay.
My plan was to go north.
My friends, if we do, I am to understand that you have some business with this poking at the body. That will involve some deal of travel. If that is the case, we should see to it that local affairs are in order for the time being, so that you may travel clear of conscience.
Agreed.
And yeah, so hey, let's try in Ripper Valley.
Yeah, pretty much the instant we're out the door from Burr, Angler does immediately calm down. He was acting hairy just so that in case somehow Burr's group is found or they have a spy within the group, they think that we're a bunch of schmucks and we don't know what we're doing.
Right.
We don't know what we're doing, but we might not actually be schmucks.
Milan is going through breathing exercises to calm down.
And Repose can offer up a suggestion for exactly what would be very calming and reassuring in this interesting time that you two have evidently brought upon yourselves. Paperwork.
That sounds really good right now.
Yep.
Hey, would you like to schedule a meeting? Holding up a calendar and shaking it violently in front of him.
I can set up a meeting plan and delegate some tasks.
Your grandmother and tell her that we're on our way home. Well, not home, back to the island.
I'll call her when I'm not.
Scheduling first, grandmother's later.
Yes.
Yeah. Also, we should probably schedule a meeting with Koi, as she's one of our greatest allies in the area, and she definitely needs to know what's going on.
Well, yes, so, as requested earlier, I do have in the organization chart for the monastery that Milan is authorized to take leadership actions here.
Yep.
The team is, so I'm going to request that Milan up some bureaucracy dice to facilitate this wealth improvement action.
Yeah,
this being so, like, the flavor I'd be going for here is Milan in a whirlwind of, finding ways to avoid thinking about the problem he just stepped into, just optimizes getting all of the heads of these temples together sooner than expected to have the war meeting.
Oh, so you want to amass wealth or manpower?
Get them together to have the meeting, preemptively have haggled out a lot of important numbers relating to them, just organically.
I'm going to spend this one moat charm I just bought, sprouting bamboo cultivation. Doubles 8s on any bureaucratic roll necessary to complete the project and gains 5 motes that can be spent on other charms to enhance it.
All right.
And that's just a cost. No roll needed. I just get to double 8s.
Yeah, go nuts.
And then I'm going to be spending that extra 5 motes on Dashing Brook method. To speed it up.
Yeah, so taking what would have been the next month of effort and just condensing it.
Yep.
Okay, so once the actual meeting is able to happen, Repose will have a speech that he has prepared on the subject of what needs to be done here. I don't have exact wording for it, but the point of it being, so he'll spend a while coming down specifically on coinage as being something that offends him as the preamble to this. Not wealth, and not money necessarily as an idea, but specifically coins. Because, like, silver is a wonderful metal. It's very clean. It's very, spiritually active. There are endless uses for silver in any well-meaning society. And jade is the purest expression of the bounties of the All-Mother, and thus should be valued by anyone remotely aligned with the good intentions of the world and of humanity. Mm-hmm. But when some petty despot feels they have the right to stick their face on a slice of this and claim ownership of it, terrible. Awful.
Banned.
Whereas, to then get into the meat of it, part of how Repose is going to improve the appeal of this whole alliance is he has near zero interest in collecting cash as tribute from any of these subordinate temples. He is looking at this as a material problem that he wants to solve with, construction and production. He has stuff that he wants for the war front. And if you can send the specific stuff, that's great. If you send me a gift card and tell me to go buy the stuff from another middleman, I am looking at you.
Don't you be that one uncle that barely knows me at Christmas and only gives me fucking
Just turn
cards.
around. Just take the whole, nature of what money is for and flip it around of, oh, you gave me a coin, so you don't think I would approve of what you did to earn this coin. Otherwise, you would have just given me your work. You want to hide things from me behind this coin. No.
Meanwhile, Yang in the background is just taking economic notes.
But yeah, so as policy for the monastery, when they get involved in infrastructure projects for the towns, there's just going to be public listings of what materials and labor they need, and just, I'm opening the firmament, is what's happening here.
Yeah!
Yes!
There is the bounty board of tasks that need to be done and things that need to be gathered and prepared.
Someone needs to go collect the endless buckets of morale snakes.
I need a bag of snakes right now. I must approve of all of their dainty little heads.
Fishermen, get me griffins. Wait, don't even... No, entire hippogriffs!
Yes. And of course, people who...
Put it in the seafood box.
Who put up the efforts for the charity, they get their names on the walls. They get commemorated for all the good work they're doing for the community.
Mm-hmm.
You are spending on the benefit of the cities, and you receive the prestige of having done so.
And a very large crab to ride around on.
Yeah.
Perhaps a gorilla that can fly.
Can we fight one of those?
Yeah, actually in the wild. He didn't fly, but he probably could have.
Alright, so yeah, that is 8 successes that you threw into that. Stunts lower difficulty rather than adjusting die pools for this, so what do you feel that argument is worth?
2 die stunt, I would say.
Okay, so that means that this roll was difficulty 1, meaning that is exactly enough to hit the 7 progress needed for this action.
Oh, so yeah, it goes from a month to we're done, actually.
The deal is struck, and the lines are open.
Yeah, just Milan tears through a month of paperwork in about an hour as Repose stirs everybody into action and just smooths out and just basically cuts the ribbon on the firmament and lets the crafters and gatherers just descend like locusts.
It's a great part of it, too. There is no effort too small to be counted in the roles of one who has contributed to the community. This is about bringing people together, letting them all work towards common good.
Mm-hmm. God damn it, I'm mad about how smart that is.
So, the Trident River goes up to Wealth 2. And I'll think about initiating a new project when we come back here in the future.
Milan is going to actually feel feel really good about this. Just that feeling of, I did something really good just now. This action helped reinforce I'm going to use that to increase an intimacy of mine.
Yeah,
to reinforce.
That would be a good justification. Which one?
Let's see. Power should never be abused. From that talk about currency and stuff, and just like, yeah, we should do this to better ourselves in the community, and not to gather wealth and power.
Suppose would have tested the waters a little bit before the speech to see whether or not he should include or remove a remark about how, yeah, on the Isle, the Empress can just sign a sheet of paper and call that money. Anything can be money.
Yeah.
Money does not hold value.
Then there's the war between...
Wealth is in people.
One of my favorite details about the realm that was in the second book, like the full book about the Blessed Isle, and then the rest of the setting was and this may have been in earlier settings, the Scarlet Empress has a cash reserve and a silver bullion reserve, and even before she left, they were at actual literal war, and now that they're gone, it's escalating into actual literal
there
war.
are multiple separate imperial treasuries that duel each other for control of currency.
Milan can't improve the intimacy of I love my job, because that is already a defining intimacy.
Mm-hmm. Imagine if it was, instead of a single standard, it was fiat currency plus the silver standard plus the jade standard plus some idiot advocating the gold standard? 4 or 5 different economic standards that the Emperor set up deliberately to make the economy as confusing as possible, and then she vanished and stopped making them work right.
And then all my Scarlet coins got devalued. What the heck?
God. But, yeah, no, that would be a pretty, this is probably getting into the afternoon of this day.
Alright, so that is the business proposed we had to do here. Beyond just a miscellaneous background, see Steel again, shake hands.
Mm-hmm. Inform, head out.
Inform that, yes, I am just going to be away for a season and a half, maybe.
The steel-tearing bureaucrat does not actually seem that surprised. If anything, it seems they seem more surprised and impressed and grateful that you said anything before leaving.
Here are some keys to things. Here's where I keep the various sacramental instruments in case they're needed.
I figure next we can.
You gotta contact the babysitter before
How long are
you
we
let
going
the
to be in
kid
this area?
just be on their own.
Unless you had an idea, you could be here for a little longer.
No, it's okay.
You also mentioned wanting to go down to see Koi.
Yeah, that was my next plan.
I kind of wanted to see Koi, and then if we had to spend the night somewhere, probably either on the boat or at Koi's place.
Yeah.
I was going to drop by Fallen River to once again whip these people into shape and let them know, hey, I'm going to be gone a bit. Keep up that there has to be a better way.
Yeah, if the rest of the group wants to go on to Fallen River and just drop me off to talk to Koi, that's fine too.
He has to report to the monastery, report to his family about things.
A lot of the incidental reports don't need full scenes, unless
Fallen River doesn't need a scene. It's just me continuing to really Milan's kind of doing the same as what Repose did up here, just in a very more hands-off capacity.
Yep.
Angler is going to hand a message to Milan when he goes to the Fallen River Valley to hand to that small group of, not radicals, but the people that Milan kind of really got moving in the system. Basically, in telling them to keep their eyes out because I trust them. And that if they ever want to do something more to make sure that the Fallen River Valley does well, that they should keep in contact with a couple of contacts that I have that I've been slowly building up in the region. I want to add them into my web.
before departing on the trip, I feel like Obsidian would try and get literally anything out of this, and would probably like you get a bunch of cargo to take to.
Yeah, no,
the isle.
economically speaking, you would be able to get a lot of like you have the full run of this entire region basically, especially with the cloud. So you would be able to get luxury goods from all over the goddamn place. And additionally, I did catch Angler say one thing. There is another trader that you could be getting goods from, and I know Angler in particular, I don't know if the rest of you wanted to catch up with Sybil and Guan.
Yeah, that's actually something where either Angler was going to do it if the other people were going to be sticking around, but if people were going to drop him off to talk to Koi, he would have taken a moment to find the nearest bird and say, "We need to chat."
I would. Obsidian would be willing to talk to Guan because at this point, like he's taken initiative to do anything, whether or not directly fighting for whatever reason or another. But he's helping, so we can appreciate that.
Okay, so that I feel like probably deserves a little more of a scene if it's going to be the other stuff Angler wanted to talk to them about. So while the rest of that is happening, you would actually be able to see them on the road about here down a little southwest of former Plague Dome. That is where they were on the road, as mentioned last time, and it has not actually been that long since then, so they're still on the road on foot travel as you are zooming on by. And one thing that you notice as you are walking by is that first thing you see is that Sybil is relaxing, kind of half asleep on the back of the Duchess, the Yedem, the trade animal. Guan is walking next to it, and then there's a second one, and a third one, and they're all talking to each other, and also the Yedem is covered in birds.
Ah, the flock is
so
here.
Cool. That is so cool. At the same time, that is so weird.
As you are zipping up, what? Go on.
No, I just said neat.
As I said, as you are zipping by, would you be stopping to like zip down and talk to them, or?
Yes.
This is a trade deal.
I would ask to go down and talk with them.
The moment that that Guan looks up and sees the cloud coming by, there is an actual kind of look of, and then all of the birds and all of the other secondary Guans just poof out of existence into a single one. Just kind of a moment of like, you get the feeling that he didn't like you seeing that. As the cloud touches down and you all come back up, and kind of Sybil lazily opens one eye before actually sitting up at full attention when she sees the whole group. Well, visitors. How can we help you?
Before I forget, Angler is going to look back and make sure that Old Man, by not doing anything, is making sure that our prisoner is still unconscious and doesn't try to, make a run for it.
Yeah, no, he has been... probably you would have Yang just dose him with sedatives.
So I would also put forth the amount of free zipping around we're able to do. We've kind of fallen into a montage. You could just have dropped off the prisoner, like, at the boat.
Yeah.
Put him into a brig.
Fair.
Yeah, like he is taken care of, but yeah, this is mostly a disconnected temporal montage at the moment. This is the major scene that needs to be talked through during it.
Okay. Well, in that case, we need to have a conversation, and it's better to do this face-to-face rather than with any kind of missive that might be caught by the whims of fate.
It's about the whims of fate.
I gathered as much, Sun says, and Sybil is just kind of raising her eyebrows, kind of looking a little excited. Oh, well. I heard that Sun had been talking about our friends upstairs to you. Have there been further developments?
You could say that.
Oh boy. Like, Sybil actually kind of looks like the hesitance in your voice makes her look more interested, of just like, oh, it's complicated.
So your apprentice...
Yeah.
Waves happily to Yang.
Bye.
Yang did possibly the most amazing thing I've ever seen and managed.
I kickflipped the table into a church official.
Yeah!
Yeah!
Yeah! Oh, it's just like Sybil actually hops off the Yetim, trots across the way, and gives Yang a hug.
Yeah, validation.
This rules.
That's what got me.
Oh man! Oh, was it the Inquisitor? Was it the
Yeah,
Inquisitor?
it was the Inquisitor.
Yeah! Oh, there's my student! Oh, man. Did he see it coming? Did he see it? Tell me it was a surprise.
No,
Yes!
it was the best. I wish you were there for it.
Oh, I'm so sad that I missed this. Why weren't you watching this, Guan? Guan is just looking at her like, oh, God. Oh, I feel obligated to ask if you had a reason just for my husband, but I don't really care if you did.
Hunch.
I produced the letter.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I like to think that Angler and Son are just having a look of, yeah, this happens to you a lot too, huh? Yeah, it's just kind of standard norm at this point.
Mm-hmm.
He had a hunch for what it's worth. His hunch was very right.
Son's face darkens when he sees the letter, and even Sybil just kind of gets a little more serious when she sees it.
The thing
Another
that the thing that confuses us, well, the thing that's different about this one compared to the other ones is gestures at it. It's fucking vague as shit.
Son walks up and kind of extends a hand to see if it's all right if he takes it to read.
Yep.
Yeah, would hand if I'm the one holding it, whoever's holding it.
Skims through it. Face furrows. No, you're right. He hands it back. This is written in a panic. This is entirely too impulsive. This is not something that you write when you have a plan in mind ahead of time. This was somebody adapting to a circumstance they didn't foresee. Which one of them it was, I don't know.
My bad?
He actually kind of looks back at Milan, looks back at the letter, looks back at Yang, still kind of partying over with Sybil about, decking a church. What did you do?
Well, he was about to execute a member of House Sinis for general crimes that, he should be executed for. We need him as leverage to get back to the Isles.
So you stepped in and stole him, presumably.
And proceeded to rub it in the Inquisitor's face.
Of course you did. Son steps back and thinks for a moment. That does fit. That does.
This is twice now we have prevented him from establishing a foothold in taking over a major city. So
that especially fits.
We also might have made sure to appoint a magistrate to take that position that is incredibly against the Immaculate Order.
There we go. There's your problem. One of the favorite play toys of upstairs is the Realms branch of the Immaculates. You presumably just took a very valuable tool out of a hand that did not expect the tool to grow legs and walk away. And Sybil's just kind of smiling at that insinuation, while Guan's look is more like, man, I'm sorry. You just stepped in it.
Well, as I've said, we are going to be going to the center for a while.
But we will come back. Some of us have greater ties here than we originally thought.
Son nods. Sybil raises a hand. You think we would be doing better with go out with you, or do you think we need to stay out here?
You should stay here.
You should stay here. We need... Glances over at Brother Repose. We need two people who we can trust to keep an eye on the area. I say to the lunar and solar.
Like, Sybil actually kind of laughs at that.
Proposes in the background, only briefly in focus, very officially disapproving of all of your interactions here, but not intervening.
I'm a bit surprised and honored that you would trust me, and I will do my best to live up to that trust. I know we met off on a rather bad foot, but
there is a massive knot forming in Milan's gut.
She actually, okay. You actually, when she sees you having a knot in your gut, like the casual, goofy nature kind of slips off. Jokes aside, no, seriously, this is an escalating situation. I'm not a complete idiot when it comes to something that is an actual threat. I like to have fun, but I also know when it is time to actually put things down and get back to business, okay?
Yeah. Thank you. And asking the two of you to do this because I fear our biggest worry may in fact be true.
What, bismuth?
No. The
I don't have to talk about it if you don't want to.
Yeah.
Sybil's just chuckling and Guan is just kind of rolling his eyes a little bit.
I kind of lock eyes with Guan. I think you are correct in our worst fears.
No, I figured the letter was enough confirmation for that, but yeah, no. Guan says, speaking of bismuth, by the way, I did go try to speak with him to a degree. I did not fully breach the topic, as I did not exactly feel like having my face torn off if it didn't go well, but I did dance around it enough for him to realize that I'm more aware than I am not aware.
If I might just very briefly interrupt, the remark of not wanting to have his face torn off, there is very faintly whispered from Repose at his not involved in this conversation distance, you have spares.
When you actually say that, you actually make Sybil burst out laughing, and Sun catches him. I do in fact have spares, but I can assure you that the experience is not a pleasant one. Ask your old man how it felt when he got vaporized. It's about that pleasant. Regardless, when I spoke to him, it did not seem that he had turned into a raving maniacal creature of oblivion that wanted to tear down all things that were and will ever be. He just seemed like his usual tired, crotchety, bitter old self. And when I inquired to him as to the nature of his current alignments, of his current political goals, he did not seem overly offended or overly defensive. He seemed... how to put this? More irritated that I would ask, rather than irritated that I might find out about anything. I doubt that he is an active agent, but at the same time, I can't rule out that he's not thinking about it, or possibly that he is actively fighting against it and giving him a false sense of security. I, again, did not push the issue, as I did not want to push him off a cliff.
I think it might be best to leave him be for a good time.
That was the plan. I was just going to stake out and have people watch, and so long as nothing changes in the situation, and I don't see any signs of any assholes clad in black walking around with a big cape, I would just be leaving him be. I've been having more worried ideas about the South lately anyway. I'll warn you about one thing before you go. I've been seeing movements that don't make sense much down towards the south of the region past Grey Falls. Down towards Gonzota. And this is a moment where I'm going to ask for an intelligence lore check for the players who would know about the region's history to know about the Gonzoda Redoubt.
Okie dokie.
That would not be me.
That's a one die roll for me, so I abstain.
Mm-hmm.
While everyone's rolling, I just want to say how much I appreciate the background music that's been going on for the past 15 minutes.
Yeah, no, I haven't skipped forward, but whatever.
I'm not being facetious. I really do mean I've generally enjoyed the music to this. It's been great.
Okay, so Repose absolutely super double knows. Milan, was that your roll as well?
Yes, that 7 successes was mine.
Okay. The Gonzoda Redoubt is also known for the Gonzoda Incident, capital I. And this is actually where I will be shifting the music a little bit because... yeah, this'll do it for now. The Gonzoda Incident was the incident about 150 years ago. The Gonzoda Redoubt was originally a military outpost from Lukshai that was out here as a way of having a territorial foothold out near Grey Falls to control it. And it stopped being a military occupation rather abruptly when a first-age malfunctioned weapon went off, as near as anyone could tell, and everything in about a 2-mile radius around the military fortress turned into amethyst. All living material, grass, lichen, trees, people, all of it turned to crystal instantly. And the problem is, that field of you walk into this radius and you turn into rocks didn't ever turn off. So no one has ever been able to get into Gonzoda for 150 years. So that is like both of you would immediately know, oh yeah, that incredibly fucking cursed place with the first age weapon that murders people instantly when they're nearby has something weird going on nearby. That would be the tone being set by him saying that.
Anything out of the ordinary? As much as you could call it ordinary in the murder zone?
Repose, just thinking very clearly. Yes, that thing I can point at to explain why you folks aren't in charge anymore.
That thing I had to redraw.
Behold the marvels of the Golden Age!
Behold, the bomb that turns you into a rocket doesn't stop for hundreds of years!
The thing I had to keep scavengers from wandering over towards?
Was created to help mankind, to be used for good.
There's a cottage industry of people scraping out amethyst from the edges of the redoubt. Like, the amethyst prices in this region have crashed, because it is infinite free of gems. But, Guan just kind of nods. I've been seeing reports of scouts around it, and I'm not talking about the sorts who are usually throwing birds or goats or condemned criminals into the radius for it to turn into a quick profit. I'm talking about sketchier sorts, deader sorts. I'm believing that Tyrant may have an interest in the Gonzoda Redoubt. Unfortunately, if he does, I am in no position to stop him, and neither is Sybil. And as he says that, he actually kind of shoots a glare in her direction, and she just kind of casually shrugs. Just because I spent a week trying to walk through the field before you had to drag me back out because I don't make it more than 15 yards, doesn't mean you have to rub it in every time you mention it, okay? Sighs, looks back. What I'm referring to is the fact that if he can get in and we can't, then we can't do anything about it. If he can't get in, then I don't know why he's scouting it, unless he wants to find a way to get in. Either way, I would be keeping the redoubt high up on your list of priorities of places to keep an eye on, because, well, it's not every day that you see zombies wandering around the perimeter of something to see how long it takes until they turn into amethyst.
do not think I need to roll dice to be like, yeah, that is exactly what fucking Weaver would do if he were out touring the East.
Oh, that's free. That's free.
Yeah, White Wesker would definitely want to see if gems can be corpses. What is dead amethyst? Let's give me the battle data. Yeah.
Or even beyond that, what if you could just get in and then you have a cache of first stage weaponry that no one has touched? That's anyone wants that. That's both Mask and Weaver would want that.
I do believe we have a detour to take now.
Good.
Guan looks back at the rest of the group. That's the only real current events I can think of that are really worth mentioning. The rest would be all personal issues. Is there anything else I can be helping you with, or...?
What is your relationship with Koi? I mean the two of you, not... whatever, you know what I mean.
No, he still laughs at that. Oh, well. I am one of her suppliers for magical materials, and Sybil speaks up. And I actually talk to her about sorcery every once in a while.
Does she know what and who you are?
She just kind of smiles.
Okay, I kind of thought so, based on prior conversations, but just keep her in the loop on anything that might happen, and keep us in loop as well.
Yeah, well, make sure she's informed and taken care of. Some nods. Yeah, she knows better than to stick her neck out on certain issues. So she'll likely be fine, but if anything goes after her, trust me, I have a vested interest economically as well as personality-wise. That, no, I'd like to see her stick around.
And then last thing, this is more of a player question rather than actually with them. The masks that Vanif has made into various trees and such, does Vanif have a mask on them that they can talk into those, or do they have to find another tree to do it?
I've got the portable mask.
Okay, so you could just shove that mask on your face to talk to one of those trees?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That is very weird and awesome.
Oh,
okay, then yes, that we have a way of conversing with at least her, and she can pass it on to them.
Mm-hmm. What's up, newbie?
Oh, it was just gonna be Obsidian would recall. Oh, right. We're going to be making a trip to the Isles, and was wondering, hey, you want to set up some cargo trade to the Isles?
Absolutely, and you know the economic actual setup of what he could provide and what Basically, he is a rare goods vendor and occult trinkets, odds and ends, antiquities. He's basically got a little bit of everything. So he would be very much a kind of low supply, high value kind of supplier.
Yeah. What do you think we could get to pawn off to the idiots on the Isles that they would pay way too much money for?
Oh man, there's no shortage of options out here. Easy access to fire dust. Anything turned into amethyst by Gonzoda would probably get a good result. If it's anything, that would be a very lifelike statue, if you're really willing to do that.
Thanks for a moment. both in and out of character. Would Obsidian be willing to turn something alive? And no.
Yeah.
What about something dead?
Even some suggestion is just kind of like, I mean, if you really want to do that. But like, otherwise, he's like, pottery down from Clay Bottom. You already knew about that one. The rice from God's Breath River is pretty high quality. Not really enough to really make a good bulk. No, it would be good bulk trade, but not good specialty trade. You might be able to get away with selling some of the river water and claiming that it's been blessed by the elementals, because that's technically true. Rust from the pillar. You could probably get a lot of that from the Immaculates. Like he's going
looks over at Repose at the mention of that.
What? It's the people's rust. That pillar saved everyone.
Okay. Just
No
waiting to see
disapproval of that.
reaction. Just doesn't know exactly how Propose will react to any mention of like religious related stuff. Just
Alright.
what does Propose think about that one?
I am going to contribute to this from like a weird meta layer thing. I'm going to throw it lore, temple politics to see if a fact, to try like educate if a fact is in play for a thing Propose would know about.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, so there's the one like goddess of the arts who lives on the Isle just in person materially as a citizen.
Mm-hmm.
And is extremely involved in smuggling heretical and illegal arts off of the island. I just want to think about if Repose, as someone who practices the arts and is a spiritual criminal, has ever heard of her.
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
Alright, just agree on
That would be enough to know of her existence. You wouldn't know the exact supply chain, but you would be aware that there is a god that collects technically not allowed by the clergy, but still high value, beautiful artwork. Like, for those who, because I skipped over a little bit of the explanation, there is a goddess on the Isle who collects art that is iconic, as in represents things, when the Immaculate Order of the Blessed Isle is very aniconic. It very much does not like representing anything in art. It wants everything to be abstract. Like, the most you can get away with is some shapes or maybe some natural, like, representation. Like, having a picture of something or being visibly recognizable as a depiction of something is not good in the Blessed Isle's view. This goddess is basically like, but it's good art though, so I am a law-abiding citizen, I, follow the rules of the Immaculates, and then under the table, I just make sure that all of the art that they would otherwise burn goes to a good place. Like, actually
take
preserved.
talented people who would be stifled under the Orthodoxy's restrictions and just let them escape into a better environment.
Yeah, so you would be aware that she exists.
Alright, now I will put forth into this scene then that Repose is visibly a bit relaxed and interested at this discussion of smuggling art on and off of the Isle. And Sun can probably read into the subtext of that of his own accord.
Yeah. He would actually kind of give Repose a look. So are you in the art dealing business yourself, or if is this a stonewalling pause or a thinking pause?
First one, then the other.
Okay. He just kind of shrugs in response. I will say that from what I actually have seen of your sculpture and your artwork, I must say that it is getting quite good. And I must say that I would actually be willing to buy any of those things that you would be willing to sell. And if I have offended you by attaching a material value to your spiritual artwork, then I apologize.
Continued stonewalling, but in offended silence.
Yeah. Once it's clear he's not getting a response, he'd go back to talking to
Lack of angry buzzing, only usual resting buzzing.
And 100% details don't need to be worked out immediately on the spot. But yes, this would be a thing of Obsidian would go back and forth with Sun and like figure out like I just want to like something that's easy to carry, but like they're gonna pay way too much for it. Oh, that's from the mainland. Oh, so mysterious. Like this would go on.
Yeah, but like, and Guan is like basically Bureaucracy 5 is very, very well acquainted with, fleecing people, like rich people out of their money on ludicrous antiquities and luxuries. So like he'd be giving Obsidian a lot of good notes and a lot of good opportunities of like, yeah, you could take that and it would be an amazing return on your cargo hold to investment ratio, that kind of thing.
Yes, my cargo hold keeps. Yeah.
That thing that I totally have to pay attention
I have to think about the limits of the capacity of my ship, which is only that.
That is a very good character design, Rum. But otherwise, I think because we're kind of going into montage to set out with the boat probably next session, I think this is a good time to wind down anyway.
Yeah.
So, next time, boat.
Boat.
Boat. Just boat up. Finally. Boat up.
A lot of boat.
Hey, this will finally be the kick in the pants that gets me motivated to actually get the entire crew as a baseline. How much crew did I say I had? 11?
It's like around a dozen.
Yeah, I'll go with 12, and I'll figure out names, abilities, general personality.
Mm-hmm.
This boat won't be too crowded. It's a reasonable sized ship for the amount of people we're going to have on it, right?
Yeah,
I mean, 13 people used to live on it, so yeah. The addition of a few more.
It is a small to medium-sized merchant vessel. So,
we'll be fine on the boat that has a portal back to the mainland.
Which
also, you have a portal
a bedroom.
With bedrooms and storage.
One of the main design goals of any commercial ship is to have moss boat for least people.
Yep.
As much as we're gonna be gone for a while, we can get back here in instantly.
Yes, you can. I was kind of waiting for that to click. Of wait, we just have.
No. We need to make sure that the people here understand that we are paying attention to, but we don't want to tip our hand in case people are watching that don't know about portals and stuff, that we can come back to help if something bad happens.
Mm-hmm.
I'm about 90% certain that Sun and Moon happen to know exactly what we can do, but I don't want to, in case, I don't know, we have our friend from below paying attention. It's just like, by the way, we have a teleporter. We can come back to help out the instant that they realize we're out of the area.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair.
Next time.